got this started. Okay, we're back. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. It's been like 3 weeks. It felt like 3 years.
3 months.
3 months at least.
Mm-hmm.
Hope everybody is doing well. Shout out SOW Virginia. And speaking on SW Virginia, I want to thank Kazaki and Chosen Creations for setting up our emblem in the back. Really great work, really top-notch design, and we've had it for a little bit. We just didn't want to unveil it until we got our new school. We don't have all the components that surround it yet because we're going to have our shields up here. We're just waiting for some pieces to come in the mail, and we'll have that ready to go. But thank you, Kazaki at Chosen Creations, for setting that up for us. And there's a few more things that they're working on to get us kind of situated with the beautifying of our school. So Tawada SOW, Virginia, Chosen Creations, I hope you all brothers and sisters are doing well out here today. Also, SOW Houston, Quatazop, SOW Rochester, Zion, I hope you all brothers and sisters are doing well also. Tawada for being good brothers and sisters and looking out and just being there. I just want to also just say, for the record, before we send our prayers up, just hold it for now. Thawada for everyone who contributed to helping us out and getting us from our old building to the property that we own now. It was a lot of painstaking effort and sacrifice and dedication. First to the brothers that do this every day with us, all the blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice and dedication that it took everybody in this building, everybody who's driving trucks right now, everybody who's grinding, knows what we had to invest and what we had to commit and sacrifice to get to this point. And we couldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without the brotherhood in Tawada, but also we couldn't do it also without the sisters, the wives of the brothers who are putting it out in the line. We know also what you guys have done and what you've had to sacrifice in order for us to focus on the work of the Most High, for us to focus on doing our work. We know the load and the responsibility that you sisters have to do with raising children and carrying a lot of the financial responsibility and just catching the hell that you know you guys have to catch and being that living sacrifice so that we can be a living sacrifice. And we thank each and every one of you sisters deeply and wholeheartedly for your dedication and your sacrifice. We also want to help or just say thank you to brothers who have actually contributed Shaquoyam to help us with our construction, whether brothers have helped us with framing and materials and just the things we need to get things done. I want to thank the brothers who came down and who volunteered their time to help us with framing the school. Brothers who have sat back here and helped us with how to stabilize the building, how to sheetrock the building. I'm not into throwing out names because we all know it's not about vainglory. But the brothers who actually put the work in, you know who you are. And from us to you, thank you. And Tawada, for your contribution. The Most High knows what you gave up. The Most High knows what you brought to the table. And He will make sure that you guys are spiritually compensated for what you brought to the table. We just want to thank everybody who had a hand in making this happen. We're going to send our prayers up to the Most High and give the Most High His honor and grace because without Him, we couldn't even have gotten to this point. We know the Most High sends us individuals and people to help us along this journey, but we understand enough to realize that without the Most High's mercy and grace, we can sit back here and run through a wall that's not going to be acknowledged or received. The Most High's grace and mercy and love is what opens up all these doors. So what we're going to do is send our prayers to the Most High, give Him thanks. Amajim, Upanya, Yerushalayim.
Stand and face Jerusalem. And in this particular case, the east is this way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We start with the east, right? Yeah.
But in the other school, we already.
That's right. So we're going to be going towards the east. It's different. than how we normally face, but this is catty corner, right?
Catty corner right here.
Okay. Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Hahawa'ah.
Hahawa'ah.
Let them know.
Let them know.
A war.
Zayawam.
The water.
The water.
Amen.
Amen.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us light this day. Thank you, so be it.
Making a mess of it. Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Hahawa'ah.
Hahawa'ah.
Let them know.
Let them know.
Rayah.
Nayachachah.
The water. Amen.
Amen.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us sweet savor. Thank you, so be it.
Imagine Mukanya Yerushalayim.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
We're already standing. That's okay. Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahshai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Hahawa'ah.
Hahawa'ah.
Let them know.
Let them know.
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Shalom. The water. Amen.
Amen.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the Sabbath and peace. Thank you, so be it.
Psalms 121. Anasha.
Anasha.
Ayanamya.
Ayanamya.
Hahoya.
Hahoya.
Ma'aya.
Ma'aya.
Yabu'ah.
Yabu'ah.
Isaiah.
Isaiah.
Yabu'ah.
Yabu'ah. Ma.
Yahweh. Sha'aisha. Shemaiah. Wa'aratza. Wa'ah. Yanathan. Lamu'ah. Regalia. Yala'ah. Nawam. Shashimoriah. Hana. Yala'ah. Nawam. Wala'ah. Yeshua. Shashimamor. Yashua. Yahweh. Shemoria. Yahweh. Cesaria. Ayo. Yanyamya. Hashemah. Yala'ah. Akaya. Bayawam. Wala'ah. Harabana. Walayala. Yahweh. Yashemoria. Makor. Right. Yashimor. Napasha. Yahweh. Yashimor. Abulakia. Wabu'aya. Ma'aita. Awalam.
Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up mine eyes into the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth, they will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth, Yasha'Allah, shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Israelite freedom. Shema Yashua. Yahweh. Alahayim now. Yahweh. Achad. Shema. Yashua. Yahweh. Alahayim now. Yahweh. Achad. Shema. Yashua. Yahweh. Alahayim now. Yahweh. Achad.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord.
Lord's Prayer. Abano. Shabbat Shemaya. Wadash. Haya. Shamka. Yahweh. Malakwavka. Baba'ah. Watazaka. Haya. Aisha. Ba'aratza. Kawah. Haya. Bashemaya. Netamano. Lacham. Ko. Yawam. Wasalatano. Chawatino. Hasalatano. Wala'ah. Tabiano. Banisawan. Abo. Hamushayno. Mayat. Kaya. Laka. Amalakwa. Waha'ala. Wahatapa'arat. La'awalamya. Amen.
Lord's Prayer in English. Matthew chapter 6 verse 9. After this manner therefore pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. 10 Commandments.
La'ayahaya. Laka. Alahaya. Akoyo. Ayo. Panya.
Thou shalt have no other powers before me.
Number 2.
La'a. La'ayna. Laka. Basal. Wala'a. La'aibado.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, nor serve them.
Number 3.
La'a. Falafaka. Shum. Yahweh. Bashawa.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain.
Number 4. Zakar. Hayawam. Hashabat. Lakodashwa.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Number 5.
Kabah. Abaka. Ya'amaka.
Honor thy father and mother.
Number 6.
La'a. Tarataza.
Thou shalt not kill, murder.
Number 7.
La'a. Tana'a.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Number 8.
La'a. Tagana.
Thou shalt not steal.
Number 9.
La'a. Ta'ayna. Shakwa.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Number 10.
La'a. Ta'chamat. Ko. Ashara. La'raika.
Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's.
Rakhtayah Bashim Yashai. Hahawa. Lethalanawa.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the law.
Okay. Israel, Yeshabim.
Everybody take seats.
Okay. Once again, and all the shout outs and announcements, I forgot, I didn't mention Kabul Cobb. Shout out Kabul Cobb and his congregation. Hope y'all brothers and sisters are doing right, doing well, and keeping a good fight. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Karai, that's you. Yes, you can handle your business. Hope everybody's doing well out there, and his congregation is staying strong and on point with the Most High. Continually, meaning what I mean. What we're going to go into today, since we've had like a 3-week layoff, we have to do a recap on the topic we were going over with Jonathan.
One more thing, too.
Yes, sir.
There's brothers that are not here, but we want to thank them, too. There's brothers that didn't get a chance to be here for this first inaugural class in this building.
Yes.
But they are contributing majorly to the success of what we're doing.
Whether it's the ones who are grinding and still having to do their job now. And
Okay.
we love you. We appreciate everything everybody has done to bring us to this point.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, we've gotten to this point. Now it's time to do what? Go to work.
Okay.
It's still time to go to work because we mentioned it in when we had our little soft opening, quote unquote. When we had our gathering here, that Solomon had a talk or a council with the nation and let them know, listen, it's easy to get there and build something up. It's harder to maintain it.
Okay.
I know damn well how much work it took to get here, how much work it took to get us to this point. And if Solomon's saying it's harder to maintain something than to actually get it, then that's saying something about the work we have in front of us. Because I know what type of commitment and dedication it took to get here. Now I'm sitting back here every damn day. I had one of the young brothers sweep. I'm like, man, you know how much work it'll take to clean this damn thing every day? Just to keep it organized and clean and set up. Just on a cleanliness level. All this white here out, you know how much sweeping and cleaning and dusting is going to take?
Right.
I'm joking, but what's my point? There's a lot of upkeep that comes from maintaining the grounds, the land, the area behind us, the work inside. It's not time to get comfortable and get laxed and to do what we want to do now. We have to zone in and get that much more focus, laser focus on the job at hand.
Yeah.
So with that being said, now we go and we have to continue in our Sabbath topic, but it doesn't make sense to start mid what happened to Jonathan it makes more sense to start right after Judas Maccabee's death. And after Judas Maccabee's death, there was a power vacuum. There was a significant void amongst the nation. And there was no leader. There was nobody standing up and advocating for the nation. And because of that, Mosai always sets things verse 1 or in twos. So you might have the advocacy of the nation, but then you also have another faction that's pushing to go against the nation, to go against the nation's best interest. And I don't know if you guys heard online, you heard of Nicolas Maduro, right? President of Venezuela. He got perp walked out and got snatched from Venezuela today. They got him out.
What?
Wow.
They regime changed him literally last night.
Wow.
And it took a bunch of sellouts. They brought special forces in there. They snatched him and his wife out. And they walked him out, perpetrator walked him through the city out and embarrassed him. Then they're going to sit back here and set him on trial and convict him of drug running. But they know damn well he wasn't doing any of that.
And we know who's in control of all that regime change.
And he just had a meeting with the Chinese delegation. And they were going to sit back here and sign over 600 different business deals with the Venezuelan government that would have kept them sustained despite all the sanctions that the U.S. had on them. What they don't tell you is that Venezuela had over a 6% raise up in their GDP. And their economy was growing before the U.S. came in there and just wiped them out and just took them down, just like this. And I'm bringing this up just to explain what regime change looks like and how even though Maduro was sitting back here fighting on behalf of his nation, there's also this faction in the middle of the country that sold him out. You know there was a $50 million bounty on his head, right? There was $50 million. Whoever would sell out Maduro, you get $50 million. So guess what ended up happening? Somebody sold him out. Somebody's going to get that $50 million for selling them out. And that's really what happened. Just for everybody to know, sisters on this side, men on that side. Just a heads up. This is the first time. But this is what's going on. This is what's going on now. And this is also what happened back in Israel's days when you had Judas Maccabees dying. You had one faction that was pro-government. Then you had this other faction that was pro-Greece. You have this lady who, I forgot her name. She's a vying for president of Venezuela. Esau or the United Nations in America, they pushed her. They made her the Nobel Peace Prize winner. Just this last 2025, huh?
Come on, Mexico?
No, not Mexico. Venezuela.
Okay.
There was a lady who was ordained to be a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but she was the one advocating airstrikes and bombing on her own country to set up a regime change so that what do you call it, a war? Businesses and big business and corporations can come in and privatize the country. She was advocating that. So what's going to happen is now that Maduro's gone, they're going to sit back here and slide her into the presidency.
Wow.
And she's going to play games, do business with Shell and all these different companies, bring big business in there, push out China, and just sell out the country. Yes, sir?
Maria Corina Machado.
That's her name, Maria Corina. And they don't care, Machado. And they don't care that there's going to be violence. There's going to be uprisings. The regular people are going to have a worse standard of living. They don't care about that. But this has been going on from the beginning of time. You have people that stay true to their beliefs. Then you have these sellouts that just want to get a couple people get rich while everybody else suffers. So this is happening literally right now. And the United States is still setting up regime change operations. This is why the scriptures call the United States the beast. This is why when you read about they're referred to as the beast. When you read about the 4 horsemen, the last horseman is death. And it says that last horseman, he was created to take peace away from the earth. What do you think is about to happen to Venezuela? You sanction them, you strip their only way to survive. And now you strip their only way to survive and wonder why they're poor. Wonder why their nation is in poverty. Then you take over all their natural resources and they're going to still be poor. Every country that's under their regime is literally being taken advantage of. Syria. Hundreds of thousands of people are just getting killed and executed by this head of Al-Qaeda that they allowed to take over Bashar al-Assad. Anyway, I'm not trying to get all geopolitical. I guess I just did, but I'm not trying to completely focus on it. What am I trying to say is that Esau has been using and manipulating sellouts from the beginning of time. It's happening now, and it happened even back then. So now we have Judas dies. We read earlier that 2,000 of his men ran in the war. So everybody that was part of that movement to stand up against oppression, everybody's on the run. There's a power vacuum. Now, what we need to do is go to 1 Maccabees chapter 9, verse 22 through. We're going to try to get through this entire chapter. I'm not going to make as many stops as I normally do. We're going to try to get through the information. So let's do that. I need to get somebody in. Kariah, you want to switch in?
Correct. Shah Shabbatam. Banashah. Banashah.
Kariah, Shah Shabbatah, Banashah, Banashah. Hey, yo, can you cut it down a little bit more? The air. I don't know if these lights are getting me sweating a little bit, man. I don't know, man. Down. Not too low, but just, whatever. No, just go to 73, 74. 74. Is it at 74?
Yeah, 74.
Wow.
I'll do 72.
Are y'all cool? Just making sure when I'm trying to set this off on the right note and not make it an icebox like the other building was. So y'all already bringing sweats in, like preparing them to be an icebox. Correct. Just take it to like 73, 72, bro. Just to see. Just to kind of see it. I think it's the lights that are making it damn hot out.
So it's 73?
72. Thank you, my friend.
Well, it says 74 still, but we don't.
That's just the temperature in the building.
Okay. Copy.
Okay, so
Thank you.
let's do this. 1 Maccabees chapter 9, verse 22.
Alright. First Maccabees, chapter 9, and verse 22. As for the other things concerning Judas and his wars, and the noble acts which he did, and his greatness, they are not written, for they were very many. Now after the death of Judas, the wicked began to put forth their heads in all the coasts of Israel.
Just like what's about to happen in Venezuela. Now all the wicked's coming in and they're setting up their business models. They're getting all the people that have money in that country that want to get paid from the West. Now all the deals are happening. Now all the phone calls happen. Now Shell and Exxon and all the oil and energy people are setting up their deals to bring back their machinery and their businesses back to Venezuela. So when Judas fell, it's the same thing in Israel. Now all the big business guys, now all the money people, now all the elites, now they can keep doing business with the Greeks like usual. When Judas was sitting back here and going to war and executing judgment, all the business left. Now the business is trying to come back in, and the oppression to everyone who said the war was right, that's kicking in also.
Can I pull a precept real quick?
Yeah.
1 Timothy 6 and 10. 1 Timothy 6 and 10.
Alright. 1 Timothy, chapter 6 and verse 10.
It just shows a classic motivation, a classic theme, a central theme behind people's actions and events. Go ahead.
Real quick, online, when the brother starts to read, I just want to make sure everybody can hear his voice and hear his communication. If you can't hear him, text it online, all right? Go for it. And us too. If it's like an echo, we kind of want to figure out
The sound.
how it sounds. This ain't the time for drinking, getting swigs. That come on, man.
It's vocal cords. Come on, man.
Let's go, man. First, you said 1 Timothy, right?
Yeah.
6 and 10.
Yeah.
1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil.
One of the definitions of evil is injurious, or to be an injurious person. And wicked people or injurious people, their personal motivation is personal gain. Well, in this world, what's the most relevant personal gain? Resources, money, access to capital, access to social status and position. So people are wicked for a reason. They're wicked because they have natural inclinations and natural impulses and natural desires and carnal reasonings. But then at the end of the day, it's about what people want in their core value system. Scripture is saying that not money, but the what?
The root.
The love of money. What it's an inordinate affection. I want this more than I want the estate of my people to be at peace. I want this more than I want our people to serve the Most High. I want this more than I want the nation to be close to the Father. And because there's an inequity or there's an imbalance in those wants, the negative person will always choose the physical objective over the spiritual benefit or the spiritual peace of the people. Mm-hmm. So it's the love of money that's the root of evil. And you'll see this in regime change. You see it in the scriptures. It's just showing that a lot of negative and wickedness is based on business. It's business based in people's minds.
And it's disguised in present times off of what do you call the economic system? Not democratic, but no. It's the economic system of the United States. What's it called? The word isn't hitting me right now. Nobody knows.
You saying as far as like a capitalism?
Capitalism. That's it.
Okay.
Capitalism. Because in the process of defining capitalism, it's really about my needs and my goals supersede the body's goals or the people's needs or the people's. Let's continue.
All right. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 10.
No. That's all in there.
Oh,
Let's go back to 1 Maccabees 9.
1 Maccabees chapter 9.
Verse 23. Let's do 23 from the top.
Okay. Now after the death of Judas, the wicked began to put forth their heads in all the coasts of Israel. And there arose up all such as wrought iniquity. In those days also was there a very great famine.
They said they rose up all such as wrought iniquity. Because a lot of times, whether it's the vice industry, any money-making schemes, more times than not, is going to bring about social collapse.
True.
Infrastructure change. Societal collapse is going to bring the money in. Whether it's like, for Native Americans, a lot of times they were sitting back here, and every Native American reservation had to do these damn gambling casinos, right? That was a big thing. What did the gambling casinos bring in? More vice, more addiction. You telling me casinos doesn't bring addiction?
Casinos are 24 hours a day, and they serve drinks 24/7.
It's nothing but addiction. Huh? This is getting more people strung out. Listen, strung out on just gambling. Huh? You ever see those gambling sites online? This is just for entertainment purposes. How many people sit back here and gamble just for entertainment? People start getting hooked on that rush.
It's an addiction.
That's my point. It's like drugs. Listen, why do they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
Because
you go there, listen, because it's just about vice at that point. Huh? Everything's legal there. Everything goes there. So whatever happened there, if it was good, you had a great time, don't say nothing. If you got robbed and bad things happen to you, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And everybody wants to keep going back to Vegas. Why? You can do what you want and forget about it. Forget about it, act like it didn't happen, and then go home.
There's no restraint of quote unquote Judeo-Christian ethics.
Hell no.
There's no restraint of like. There's no moral restraints. And people like those loose, liberal, gray areas. People like that.
I know.
And these casinos breed that. The vices breed that. It breeds gray areas where you can let loose and be more into the flesh.
Even now, even when Trump was in office the first time, he was trying to do drilling in North Dakota, if I'm not mistaken, and do oil drilling.
I remember that.
But what was the consequence of drilling oil in North Dakota? Everybody wants to say, yeah, these guys are tree huggers. But what were they really saying? What was happening? What was the consequence of drilling oil up north in North and South Dakota?
They're going to destroy the water table that the Standing Rock Indians were living on and drinking from.
That's the point. That you see, there's the consequence for financial advancement.
Yeah.
You can go make all this money, but the water's polluted now. So now all your water has to be imported just to make for a handful of corporations to get paid.
People get cancer when you're drinking chemicals that they're that harsh. That causes all kind of autoimmune disease.
Because it's not like the poor can just sit back and outsource their water.
Come on,
The
bro.
poor are not going to be able to outsource their water, so they're going to drink contaminated water and get sick. But then they want to call them tree huggers and not about forward advancement. You see the point? But this is a lot of times the devil's deal that people have to make to get paid. Even if you sit back and look at your life, everybody can make their money, but then there's a ceiling that everybody has to hit. And then the question you have to ask yourself is, what are you going to compromise to get across that ceiling, to get extra? More times than not, you got to compromise your morals, your values, become a team player in arenas you don't really want to be a team player in. And then when you sit back here and make that decision to not do it, then what ends up happening? You might get fired, or you definitely won't get that advancement that you're looking for.
You become a black sheep.
But Esau has no filter. None of that matters. They're going to go do what they have to do.
Sound going out, not going on, whatever.
I don't. Everybody else said it was sounding good.
That might be the area because they're driving.
Okay. So, let's keep going. I'm just trying to explain that there's a consequence for that upward mobility and that growth and that economic growth. Somebody has to lose. Let's keep going, Karai.
Verse 24.
And some people call it economic oppression.
Yeah.
Because
It depends on who's if you're making money or you're losing money.
exactly.
Okay. Well, let's go.
Verse 24. In those days also was there a very great famine, by reason whereof the country revolted and went with them.
So what the Most High was doing, what the Most High is doing is he's still defending the what? In this story, the Most High was still defending the what? The land. Because now iniquity was starting to get to the point where it was rising up and that stench was affecting the Most High. Right?
Come.
So what the Most High does, this is why he removed us in 586 BC, remember? So that the land could what? Rest. So now we're here now, and he's trying to bring a famine as that reminder that, hey, the way you guys are living is out of pocket. You're going to have to make some changes and make these changes now, or there's going to be consequences. Read on. So the people were revolting this new government and this new regime change scenario because all of a sudden this iniquity is coming into the city. Now there's no food to eat. Now we're going to rise up and protest against the government. Read on.
Verse 25. Then Bacchus chose the wicked men and made them lords of the country.
So what ends up happening, like always, somebody has to be that puppet leader. Because Bacchus was the general and head of the military. He puts a puppet regime change guy to, one, get paid, for that guy and his family to get covered. But he has to also, as that president or leader, has to deal with the complaints, has to deal with all the protests, and has to squash those issues.
Yep.
What does the United States do? Do they put a gringo in Venezuela? No, they don't. They put a person that has some type of roots to their country, but has allegiance to them.
Yep.
So what they do, their job is to sit back here and calm the rebellions down. Kill who you got to kill. Pacify who you got to pacify. But make sure the business endeavors continue to flow for empire.
Can I make one precept real quick?
Yeah.
Psalms 132, verse 13 through 15. Psalms 132, verse 13 through 15.
14 to 15.
13 through 15.
All right.
The scripture goes into how the Most High loves His land, and why He can't allow iniquity to continue.
Okay. Psalms chapter 132, verse 13. For the Lord had chosen Zion.
Zion, read.
He had desired it for his habitation.
He desired the land of Zion, Israel, to be His habitation, His place of dwelling, His central point of focus. Read.
This is my rest forever.
He said it's His rest. He can't rest when there's iniquity and wickedness and sellouts and backstabbing and fleshly vices and people being destroyed. Read.
Here will I dwell, for I have desired it.
It's His desire. This is what He wants. Read.
I will abundantly bless her provision.
He wants to bless the provision and the resources of His people when the Spirit's right in His land. Read.
I will satisfy her poor with
And
bread.
it's the key point going into the economics. The Most High is about satisfying the poor and giving people what they need to survive, and the common man able to survive and take care of their families and eat and not deal with starvation and sickness and economic oppression. He's about charity. He's about taking care of the poor. But when you have wicked people in positions of authority, like Job says, what? When the wicked are in authority, what happens? The people mourn.
People mourn.
The people are going to what? Mourn when more negative people using the idea of politics, using the angle of economics, get into power, and they start making wicked, evil policies that affect children, that affect households, that break up families, that make people's daily life a challenge and struggle just to get the bare necessities.
Then another verse on that is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 38. Because the Most High controls the abundance of how the land is producing, whether it yields or not yields. Read that, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 38.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field.
It says, thou shalt carry what?
It says, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field.
So if you carry a lot of seed into the field, the objective and the goal is to plant these seeds.
Yeah.
So if I'm carrying a lot of seed into the field, I want whatever type of seed that is to flourish, to grow, to produce, to reproduce. Read on.
And shall gather but little in.
He said, but not much of those seeds will yield anything. What is that? What is that showing? That all the work you put in to tear the ground up, till the soil, scatter the seed, put the seed in the earth, and then it doesn't produce. That's your economy. That's your economy being plagued by the Lord.
Wow.
So that production, the Most High controls that. He controls the work that you put into something and what you get out of it. How much can you yield from it? All that's controlled by the Most High.
God. So the Most High is starting these uproars. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Genesis. When we're dealing with Judah. We're dealing with them being at lion's whelp.
Yeah.
I think it's 49.
Going back to sleep.
And
So round them up.
yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Who
shall? It's 49 and 9. Genesis 49 and 9.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp.
Judah's like a lion's whelp, a young lion. Read on.
from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stood down. He counts as a lion, and as an old lion.
But he says Judah is a young lion. They're a young lion. What does that mean? We're a young lion. We have the capability to be strong, vivacious, alive.
Yeah.
We have the capacity to conquer what? All things. Does a lion have any resistance in the
No.
jungle?
He doesn't have any real force other than hyenas.
If a lion, well, listen, there got to be a lot of hyenas,
Got to be a gang of them. Right?
and even if it's a gang of them, it's really going to be a stalemate
Yeah.
at best for the hyenas.
Yeah.
Now hyenas are no chump. I'm not even acting like that. But what's my point? If the Most High is explaining that we're a lion's whelp, is he talking about our physical bodies? No, it's not. Because the Most High said, I didn't choose you for your strength and your size. Weren't these Canaanites way bigger than us? Weren't there giants that we were going to fight? That we were afraid of?
Yeah.
So what is he saying about we're lions? This is for the lions, right? Everybody got lions. This is what we go. This is for everybody who got lion shirts. What does he mean by Judah or is a lion's whelp? He's explaining the potential of Judah, the potential of our nation to be conquerors. Didn't Christ say, in Christ we're more than conquerors?
Yeah.
Listen, the capacity of our nation is to be great. But the capacity many times doesn't equal the what? The result.
Yeah.
A lot of us have the potential to do great things and to be strong and to be potent in our thinking and our fight and our desire to stand up for what's right. But too many times we start to stoop down and go backwards. Read it from the top again.
Right. First Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 25. It says, then Bacchias chose
No, Genesis. I need Genesis.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp.
Judah is a lion's whelp. Stop. There's a pause there. Read on.
From the prey. My son, thou art gone up.
What does that mean? We've gone up. We've gone away from the prey. Does a lion ever run away from the prey? Not the nature of a true lion, but us. But he's saying we have the capacity to be lions, strong and potent. But we've run away from the prey. Read on.
The opposite circumstance.
We act and operate opposite of our nature. He's saying this is what literally Jacob is saying is our blessing and our curse. He's giving a readout of our nation. He said, Judah, you got the capacity to conquer all things. But you're running from your battle. Doesn't that sound like Judah? Does that not sound like Judah? When Judah is potent and willing to fight, nothing can stop he or her. But more times than not, we're running from our prey. We're running from our battle. And in layman's terms, we're running from our weaknesses. And we don't fight ourselves. Read on.
God says, he stooped down. He counts as a lion.
Listen, instead of sitting back here and standing up boldly, the righteous are bold as a what?
As a lion.
But he says our people, Judah, he's somewhat all the tribes. He says Judah has stooped down, has stepped back, and has failed. In a nutshell, he's saying our people have not maxed out their potential, have not fulfilled the capacity we were created to be.
Yeah.
Now, we all know the societal things that were done and targeted to weaken us and to break us. But that doesn't change the fact that the potential that Judah has, we have not maxed that potential. Read on.
It says, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
So he says, the Most High says, even though we're young lions, we operate like old lions. You ever see like that like that old lion just sitting here in the shade out. It takes a lot to piss him off. He's just sitting here like whatever fly. He got his tail moving them flies around out. He's just sleeping out. Sleeping out. And it takes a lot to get him aggravated enough to even get up out of his space.
Because he's into his comfort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The old lion's into their comfort more than they're into getting the prey.
And fighting again.
It goes back to the building of the school. To build the school took extreme amounts of discomfort.
Yeah.
Over long periods of time. Economic discomfort, physical discomfort. You're not getting any kind of personal time, whatever, whatsoever. Backs on fire. Things happening.
And what does the lion do most of the time? He has his wife do most of the what? Hunting in the labor.
Yeah.
He's still saying this, and he's mirroring Judah with the animal kingdom. A lot of times the Most High mirrors our battle like agriculture and agricultural standards.
So we can understand it.
So it makes more sense to us. All this verse is saying is that, man, read the last verse. Read it says, thou art gone up, he stooped down.
It says, thou art gone up, he stooped down, he couched as a lion.
But the Most High says we're young lions.
That's not your nature.
So it's not your nature to sit back here and tack on 50 years on top of you when you're supposed to be fighting your battle.
And you don't have the excuse of an older lion.
Listen,
I get an older lion. He's fought his battles now. He got scars.
Yeah. Listen, he got 50 miles on each side. That's here now. Everybody knows don't cross this Mason-Dixon line because you about to get boxed up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he has
I fought Scar.
Yeah.
I fought all these rebel lions out. Yeah. I got it's my territory.
He got a couple of impingements too. He got a couple of tendon issues like that. He said,
he had arthritis in his right shoulder.
Because he has his arthritis going. So he has the right to kind of have a little comfort.
He had a chipped tooth, couple chipped teeth.
Yeah, he had a couple bad days. Yeah. But then you deal with,
Now we get it. I was wondering why nobody responded to that. Nobody remember that?
I mean, they don't push like they used to push.
Anyway.
It was too inspiring.
What am I trying to say? The way our people by nature, we're operating timidly.
Yeah.
In fear of loss, and that's not what a young lion does.
Yeah.
The reason that's so important, he's saying that's in Israel's nature. That's in Judah's nature. And if it's in Judah's nature, you telling me the rest of the tribe ain't? The rest of the nation has followed Judah's tone and tempo from the beginning.
They set the precedent.
That's my point. So if Judah ain't fighting, the rest of the damn tribes aren't fighting. No. That's a fact. But let's continue that verse. It says, he couched a lion and as an old lion. Read on.
It says, he couched as a lion and as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up?
Why am I saying this? The Most High is like, what conditions have to hit this society? What conditions have to hit your country, your neighborhood, your city to get Judah to stand up and fight? To get Judah to sit back here and operate in their most optimal self. Because in the next verse, and I don't want to sit back and take it too much, but he says, the scepter is not going to depart from Judah. If Judah rises up, the rest of the tribes will follow suit.
And that's why the scripture says they hit Judah with a continual stroke.
Mm-hmm.
They know strategically we have to keep disempowering these people. We have to keep defiling these people.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to keep rising up negative role models and glorifying negative role models to keep them in a perpetual state of ignorance.
Okay. And if you break Judah, the rest of the tribes will just fall.
This is what happens because we know that when it says who shall rouse him up, it means he's asleep. And sleep is a product of comfort. Right?
It's a cousin of death too.
Shut up, you're about the precepts. Huh?
That's what we're doing. Let's go. I'm listening. You left that up to me.
I'm
man.
sorry.
That was low hanging fruit. I had to say that one out.
It is the cousin though. But Proverbs 23, verse 21. What is the natural result of too much comfort, not being goal-oriented, not being spiritually based, and tapping into
not
devices?
fighting your battle.
Not fighting your battle, tapping into devices, and allowing your environment to become corrupt, like the land of Israel.
Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 21.
You're supposed to be buffering now. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay.
We're conscious of it. Just keep us updated, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 21.
Uh-huh.
For the drunkard and the glutton.
Stop. The drunkard is into his comfort. The alcohol is the comfort. And who else?
Well, but it's the comfort, it's the sadness.
Yeah.
I want to be sad.
Yeah.
I want to be down.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight. It's still that lion that doesn't want to fight.
I'm looking for an escape. Because alcohol is often a tool for escape. Right? Not every time.
It's starting to cut in now, bro. It's always shaitan, bro.
Okay.
We'll keep going. We just got to kind of go through it until
Signal.
We'll
Could be a signal.
God. Proverbs chapter 20.
vice, then fight.
Mm-hmm.
What else is it? People have to learn to fall in love with fighting their battles. If we don't learn to fight our battle and get out of that stooped position that we read about in Genesis, you'll never manifest and turn into the person that you were created to be. So he's like Israel as a nation, especially Judah, is so caught up in what they don't have and their feelings and what they've lost and what they don't have. They don't take the time to stand up and fight for war. It's the right side, sir. We're over here. We're over here.
Men over here.
We're not concerned enough. We haven't learned that what this is about is to find happiness in changing what's inside of you. That is the greatest gift the Most High can give you. But what we're running around here, we're just looking for comfort, looking for ease, looking for breaks. Listen, think about this. Why the Most High use us or use us with the analogy of that lion is very important. A young lion goes out and gets after it every day.
God.
Yeah.
You got to go out there and get your food, get your survival, get your sustenance. You can't sit back here and expect anybody else to give it for you. That old lion ends up expecting people to give them what they want.
You're right. You're right.
The young lion is getting his. He's part of that pride, and they're out there hunting.
Yeah.
They're out there scavenging. They're out there getting those water buffalo.
It's the idea of
those gazelles.
It's the idea of looking for a handout.
Yes.
The idea of looking for a handout and someone to give me something that I did not earn. That is part of the downfall of our nation in particular, especially Judah.
And that's the problem.
And our people, if you can get Ecclesiastes 18 and 30, our people different. They say everybody has their own particular thing that makes them float their boat. What you may enjoy is not my joy.
Yeah.
I got my own particular vice that I like to go into. My vice might be TV. My vice might be being an introvert. My vice might be just staying away from people.
Yeah.
I just like the me time. I just like to be, just to myself, not be bothered by anybody. Or I like to be out and about, be a social butterfly.
Ride energy.
I want to be ride the wave
Yeah.
of whatever's hot right now, whatever's popular right
Trends.
now, whatever's trending right now.
I'm trending.
I like to be a part of that.
Constant.
But everybody has different vices.
Yeah.
But some people will say, well, what you do, it's not my thing, but I got my own thing that I like to be involved with. But read Ecclesiastes 18 and 30.
God. Ecclesiastes chapter 18 and verse 30, page 81, red book. It says, "Go not after thy lust."
Now, does it say what type of lust?
No.
It doesn't say what type of lust, but the truth of it is, each and every one of us may have a lust.
We definitely have lust.
Some people may say, well, you know what? Drinking is not my thing. Okay, well, drinking may not be your thing, and that may not be your lust, but the question is, what is your lust? Because you still got to identify what your particular lust is that you're prone to giving yourself to.
What's your lust, and how are you not fighting your battle?
Right.
Because you're not fighting your battle because of your lust.
Well, what we say is, well, at least I'm not a drunkard. Yeah. We put it on a minimal scale of, well, at least I'm not a drug addict. Well, okay, you may not be a drug addict. You may not be a drunk. What do you give yourself to that's still keeping you compromised as in the spirit?
Yeah.
What's keeping your spirit compromised and
Right.
weak? Because there's something that keeps each and every one of us weak. But because we don't drink, or because I don't smoke, or I don't do these things that I can see that are obvious downfalls,
You're still stooping.
I'm still stupid.
You're still stooping down and not being that fearless individual that's required to actually fight your battle.
Like you said, I'm not maxing myself out. I'm still not making the most of my spiritual well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously something that we all possess is a weakness. And we have to identify what are our particular weaknesses. What are the things that make each and every one of us weak? It may not be sleep. It may not be alcohol. It may not be drugs. But what is it that keeps us weak and from being completely strong, mind, body, and spirit? Read.
God. It says, go not after thy lust, but refrain thyself.
It says do what?
But refrain thyself.
So a lot of what that refraining yourself is talking about abstinence.
Mm-hmm.
It's keeping yourself from the things the pleasures that keep us weak, the pleasures that we like to give ourselves to, that we say, well, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting anybody else. I'm not stealing from anybody. I'm not taking nothing from anybody. But just because your pleasure isn't hurting anybody, is your pleasure affecting the best of you? Are you making the most of you? Are you getting the best out of your spirit? Because the spirit, the Most High gave us, is limitless. Who knows how strong a spirit is? Who knows the state of a spirit except the one that created it? Read on.
It says, but refrain thyself from thine appetites.
It says, but keep yourself from what?
Thine appetites.
It says thine appetites. That means we all have appetites.
Right.
We all have pleasures. We all have lust. But just because my lust isn't your lust, or your lust isn't my lust, doesn't mean there's not something there that's gonna keep me weak, that can keep me weak.
And it's not socially obvious.
Right, it's not obvious.
Because people, they grade lust not based off of righteousness or unrighteousness, but off how propelling are you? Are you, your lust is socially repulsive.
Right.
Repugnant.
It's disgusting.
repugnant.
Your lust is disgusting to me.
Yes.
But what about my lust?
Well,
My lust may not be disgusting to everybody else,
But it's to God.
but it is to the Most High. And that's the thing. The Most High may find my lust disgusting,
Yes.
although other people may not see my lust.
exactly.
But it's still some type of appetite that we like to feed ourselves with. But that appetite, following pleasure, following your appetites, following your lust, following your vices, all these are things that make a man and a woman weak to the core. It makes us weak. Finish that?
That was a good.
That's it.
Yeah, cut.
All right.
And it declines our strength.
And all I want to do is go back to Genesis 49 real quick and 9. Just real quick. Just a reminder, because we're going to go back on in First Maccabees. Genesis 49 and verse 9.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son.
Listen. Judah is a lion's whelp. Don't forget, this is Jacob giving all of his sons their blessings. Don't forget that. Gad was a troop. Most I gave other sons, families, always land that was going to be around water.
Yep.
Every tribe had specific blessings that was given to them.
Inheritances.
Judah's, their inheritance was that their spirit was going to be like a lion's whelp, a young lion, a fighting, strong, potent spirit that was meant to lead. That's why the scripture says the scepter shall not depart from who? Judah. They were meant to lead from the front. But it says, from the prey, my son, read on.
Thou art gone up.
Meaning you've gone up away from the prey. You were created to confront the prey.
You were chosen for this.
Now, we know the prey ties back into what Shams Wan Dawiyat is saying. The prey is your what? Your battle. Back in the day, it was just about survival. I got to kill this animal to eat and bring it back to my pack. The prey now is whatever is getting in the way of your spiritual growth and your survival. Judah was created to sit back here and lead and usher in that strength. A strength that Judas Maccabees exemplified with his courage and his dedication, going against these crazy numbers and these crazy odds and getting victories. It just shows a glimpse of how lion-hearted he was. But read on.
God, it says, he stooped down.
But he says, but the blessing, we were created to be young lions, but in the midst of our prey, we're stooping down. We're stepping back from our fight.
Regressing.
And how we know we're regressing, just look at World Star.
Yep.
Just look at how we have diminished as a nation.
Look at Instagram.
Instagram.
You can look at just media by the 10-year decade. The caliber of just family structure. The caliber of social interaction. The caliber of morality, morals, and connection. We are declining, and we're deteriorating.
But we're deteriorating. Why? Because we choose not to keep that standard. We choose not to fight and stand up for what's right. We choose not to have a standard that represents strength, dedication, and consistency. Because in order to do that, you have to face you every day. Break your pride, break your ego, maintain a work ethic, maintain discipline. Be able to control your emotions and your lust and your feelings and how you process things. That's how we've diminished. Read on.
God, it says, he couched as a lion.
Now, we can sit back and debate about what people's vices are. But one thing can't be denied. We're crouching down as an old lion. And we're running from those battles that we were intended and created to face. Read on.
And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
And the question that the Most High is asking us, and one of the reasons why the Most High in 1 Maccabees 9 was allowing these famines to happen, what the hell was it going to take to get these 2,000 men that were with Judas Maccabees fighting these ridiculously odds battles and winning and fighting and setting up this standard where the people were rooting for them? We were able to regain our temple and do a lot of good works. What's it going to take to get these men to fight again? Because after Judas died, everybody just head for the hills and ran away from their battle. And the Most High is like, what is it going to take to get these guys to fight again? The question is the same thing for us. What is it going to take to get us to fight our battles? What is it going to take for us to lay our head down at night and find joy in the fact that our old man didn't win, that our lust didn't prevail today, that our pride didn't get the best of me today?
It's a formula that we can understand in certain areas, but not in the spirit. Like, for example, I remember a brother telling me a long time ago that he started playing soccer at 18 years old.
Audio's gone.
And he said that at 18 years old, he said, I'm gonna become a professional soccer player. So he practiced 7 days a week. 7 days a week for 12 hours a day for 3 years straight. Can you imagine that? Starting at, he didn't start soccer till 18, but 7 days a week, 12 hours a day for 3 years straight. And by the time he was 21, he made it as a backup on a professional soccer team. He was on the bench. But what dedication did it take him? What type of commitment did it take for him to start soccer at 18 and make it to the bench of a pro level team? That's 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, 3 years straight, and he made the team. Now we can understand that formula in sports, but can we understand that formula in the spirit?
No, we don't. Because in order to do that, your whole value system has to change. Like that person you're talking about, he did it for a pro contract. He did it to get rich. He did it for fame. He did it for respect. People don't want to serve the Most High and deny themselves of all these physical pleasures just to know that the Most High is happy with you. If you want to sit back and get to the core root of why Israel doesn't want to change, it's very simple. You don't get enough out the deal for it. You don't get enough out the deal for it. Because have you ever noticed the more you change and sacrifice for the Most High, guess what waits for you? More change and more sacrifice is waiting for you. Congratulations, you crossed this threshold. Now there's another threshold of sacrifice. When you read about the fruits of the Spirit, what are the fruits of the Spirit? Everybody gets tripped up on what the fruits of the Spirit looks like. But what are they? Long suffering. What does that mean? The fruit of the Spirit that Christ is giving us an opportunity to gain is the capacity to suffer for a longer period of time for your nation and for your people and for Christ. And then once you suffer, the longest you've ever suffered for your nation and for your family, congratulations, you've been blessed. But you've been blessed with the capacity now to suffer for a longer stretch of time. What are the fruits of the Spirit? Love. When you say love, what does that mean? The fruit of the Spirit is love. What that means in real life terms is the Most High puts you around a person that makes you want to hate. Have you ever been around a person that you really don't like? The Most High keeps them in your face. And the Most High is challenging you to, can you get in this book and work on yourself and figure out how to love the person that is forcing you to hate? If you're doing that, now you're abounding in love because you've learned how to push past your threshold of hate to grow to love even more. And the reward of that is now you're cleaving to Christ. Now, can you keep up this momentum and learn eventually to not hate anyone? To learn to love anyone that comes around your periphery, even though they're hateful and negative and cruel and disconnected. That's how you abound in love. And the Most High, listen, but that idea of growing in the fruits of the Spirit, when you sit back here and hear how Paul explains it, it sounds so romantic and poetic when Paul paints the picture of abounding in love, abounding in long suffering, abounding in humility, abounding in charity. It sounds phenomenal, but when you get to the meat and potatoes of it, how many people, unless you're studying, unless you're really in the book, find value in living according to those principles?
Because the struggles that it takes to do those things, to be meek,
yes,
to suffer.
Because what is meekness? Meekness means to endure injury without resentment. And how do you abound in meekness? That means I have to keep being injured, taken advantage of, hated on, and not let those traumatizing, hateful situations make me bitter and hateful. How many people have I come across? This person sat back here and did me wrong, and I can never sit back here and forgive him again. And that's why you won't make the kingdom. For all those people that have been hurt and let down and they can't get past it, then that will be the obstacle that keeps you back from Christ. I can't count on my hand how many people talk about how their mother didn't hear me out, and my father was this, and my brother was this, and this sister did this to me, and all these excuses why you don't want to change and live right by the Lord. All those people, that you want to sit back here and meditate on as why you're this way, why I'm guarded, why I don't trust, all those things, you better work on them, because Christ is looking at you when he comes back to see how much real work did you put into yourself. And the only way to really gain control over all this negative that's inside of you is to make the decision that it doesn't matter what I get out the deal. The only thing that matters is the pursuit of the fruits of the Spirit. That should bring about happiness. Everybody's waiting for this kingdom. The kingdom is too far away. If you're waiting for the kingdom, you're going to break and crack down before you get to it. You better find happiness in just pursuing Christ day to day on earth. And find happiness in pursuing the fruits of the Spirit. If you can't find happiness in pursuing the fruits of the Spirit, you're spinning your wheels. But this is why people they can sit back and work out 7 days a week, but they can't spiritually work out 7 days a week. Because the problem is Israel wants something out the deal. And they want carnal rewards.
Imagine if I studied 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Or imagine if I prayed 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Or imagine if every day I woke up, I told myself with the scriptures I've been studying, I am not going to let this thought of despair break me. I'm not going to let this anger control me. I'm not going to let my negative outlook seduce me into seeing the whole world a negative light.
Or negative people bother me.
I'm not going to quit today. And every day I'm not going to quit on myself. I'm not going to quit on my battles. Every day I'm making that a priority. Just like the things it takes for you to get up and work out every day. Because every day workout, your body's on fire. And something has got to get you past how much your body is on fire. Forget this, I want to make the leap. I sit back here and I believe I have back issues now. I hit thousands of batting practice. I'm talking about thousands of swings on both sides of the plate. I was a left-hand hitter and a right-hand hitter. And the amount of work it took to be adequate at best is ridiculous. I remember it was a story about this guy named Ted Williams. He just would hit till his hands bled. And you know what? That's the price of greatness. I don't give a damn what nobody says. What does it take to be great? But to exhaust your body and burn it out, and then when you hit your 40s, it collapses. We can figure it out in the sporting world because, hey, you know what? My body's broken, but I have $50 million accrued in my lifetime. So it was worth it. I can pay for surgeries. I can pay for whatever. The glory that I gained from this commitment was worth it. But we don't look at things like that spiritually because you're not going to get this physical reward on earth right now. And because you're not getting a tangible gift, we don't want to make that commitment on the spiritual side. Because if you look at it, your life becomes all sacrifice, and we don't like that idea. But that's what it takes. That's what being a lion really is about. Can I go to war with myself every day just because it's the right thing to do? That is a lion warrior spirit. So you sit back and think about a person who's called a lion or a warrior. What does that mean, really? You can find that inward motivation to attack and destroy these weak elements inside of you that keep you spiritually mediocre. Why even do this Bible thing if you're not going to try to be great at it? Why try to read the Bible and serve the Most High half-ass? It just doesn't make sense. Didn't the scripture say, whatever you put your hands to do with all thy might? Yep. Then why are we sitting back here and giving 50%, 60% and thinking, and then you're dumbfounded as to why the Most High doesn't bless me? You know, I'm going to tell you the trick about getting blessings, y'all. I've said it before in the past. It's a very simple equation. You get blessings when the pursuit of the blessing matters more than the blessing. When the spiritual pursuit of what it takes to earn a blessing is way more important than the blessing. Because I can say this: if a person wants a blessing, just throw a blessing a person wants out there. Was that okay? Perfect. If a sister wants a husband, then a sister has to learn. First thing is first, that if your priority isn't about serving the Most High, there is not a man on earth that's going to make you happy in this truth. Because if you want an Israelite husband, if you want an Israelite man, where is his heart going to be? Where is his time going to be? Where is his presence going to be? It ain't going to be with you.
Nope.
How about that one? That's the misconception that the Israelite wife. Well, I'm going to say this. Not in San Antonio. I don't know what goes on in Jew land, in 4 or 5 Ribman land. I don't know what that is. All I can speak for is men who are dedicated to the work and dedicated to serving the Most High. What sisters don't realize is men are married to the Most High first. So their time and attention goes there. So if your time and your heart isn't connected to the Most High, there's going to be automatic clashes, automatic fights, automatic discontentment off the jump. And then then the funny thing is, women sometimes think that when they have a husband, they no longer have to feel the weight and pressure of fighting their battles. Somebody else is going to fight their battles for them. What you don't understand, I don't care what husband you are, you cannot alleviate or eliminate a sister's battles just because you're their husband. You still got to fight your slothfulness, your lust, your pride. The greatest thing a husband is and what he can be for his wife is what? An ensample.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing he can do. Teach strategies and live strategies. Live a life of strength. And I'm going to say living a life of strength is a better teacher than being the most wordsy guy in the world, because everybody don't have good words and awesome words and great speeches. The best thing a man could give is living it and breathing it every day and putting it on the line for his people every single day and walking you through, meaning the sister, how to live the right way and how to make the right decisions.
God.
That's what a husband brings to
And
the
try to
table.
be as blameless as possible.
And that's where the ensample thing comes up.
Because anytime that a man has a head or a woman has a head, you know, the head is going to be pushing the woman to change and to pushing the woman to excel. And anytime that you push anybody to excel or be better, there's going to be instant pushback. And the pushback begins with, well, I don't see you do this. Well, how come I don't see you I don't see you do the things you're telling me to do. So therefore, we'll give them ammunition. We'll give a person ammunition that's in a subservient position. It will give them more ammunition to not do it if they feel like they don't see it first. So that's why that example that Award's talking about is so important, because people need an example to see it in order to believe it. If they don't see it in you, it's going to make it hard to follow. It's going to make it hard to believe it.
Yep. But it still goes back to that sister having to love living a life of service. If a sister doesn't love living a life of service, then it doesn't matter what husband comes to a picture.
Yep.
If you don't understand what service looks like and what commitment looks like, why would he give you something when you're not ready to truly serve? Not just serve your husband, but really buy into serving the Most High and being last. Because that's what your husband has to be if he's going to thrive in this arena. Has to accept that he never gets what he wants out the deal. The work comes first. If sisters understood that and understood that time that they're waiting for, what are you doing with that time? People think you change. Well, when the husband comes, then you start changing. No, you have to show while you're waiting that the only thing that matters is the Most High, not the other way around.
While you're waiting, right?
Yeah, while you're waiting, you have to show that class matters, studying matters, making improvements in yourself matters. That's what matters. You give yourself to that, the husband will follow. But people are like, I'm not going to change till my husband comes. When my husband comes, then I'll make those changes. That's not the case. That's why you won't have one. Because whether it's sisters or brothers, you have to show the Most High that the work matters first. Because even men want ribs. What good is a man having a rib if you can't lead yourself? If you can't manage yourself? If I can't manage my lust and my flesh and my hatred and anger, how can I sit back here and teach another person how to manage their distrust, how to manage their anger and their vexation?
I got a scripture I want to bring on
Yes,
that
sir.
too. Ecclesiastes chapter 21, verse 27.
Ecclesiastes chapter 21 and verse 27. When the ungodly curses Satan.
It says, when the ungodly curses Satan. So an ungodly person can see evil. And an ungodly person still knows what evil looks like.
Yeah.
He says, when an ungodly person curses Satan, because they can see Satan. Everybody can see Satan. Oh, that person is full of crap. That person's evil. We can all see evil. But he said, but when the ungodly curses Satan, read on.
He curses his own soul.
Why does it say he curses his own soul? Because you know what he can't see? He can't see the Satan in himself. He can't see the evil in himself. So if I can see evil in other people, I have to also know how to see evil in me and fix what's in me first. Otherwise, me calling out what's not good about other people does me no good, because there's some things that are not so godly in me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's best that I fix me first before I start calling out what's bad in other people or the obvious evils. Because otherwise, I'm a hypocrite at that point. I'm a hypocrite. So I gotta make sure I fix me. I have to fix me. If I want a husband, I'll be fixing myself. If I want a wife, I'll be fixing myself. Because what you're gonna see when you partner yourself with somebody else, you're gonna see a whole bunch of flaws. You're gonna see a lot of flaws when you marry in yourself with somebody.
Yep.
You're gonna see everything that's wrong with other people.
Yep.
Well, guess what? You got to fix what's wrong in you first. So in the meantime, until that husband comes, or until that wife comes, it'd be beneficial to start working on you, because you're gonna see what's wrong with them. But what good is it calling them out when you haven't fixed your own stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That's why he says whoever cursed Satan, they curse their own soul.
Yep.
I got to fix what's in me first in the meantime, before I get that wonderful husband or before I get that wonderful wife. I got to look at what's inside of me and what's wrong with me. Let me start working on that. Let that go.
All facts. So this whole process is wrapping it back up and getting back on topic. This is where Israel many times fails in having that enthusiasm to go head first into fighting their battles and really understand what this is. More times than not, we run from the prey. We run from that pride in us. We run from that lust in us. We run from that selfishness in us. And we stoop down like an old lion and choose not to take the challenge of overcoming the weakness in ourselves. And the Most High knows that's in our nature. And the meaning of our life, and pretty much the majority of our people's lives, is, can you overcome that nature in you that wants to quit and run and hide and not face you? Are you going to be that young lion that fights you and breaks you? Or are you going to be that old lion that just gives in? And lets whatever's in your head take control of you.
And erode you. Because there is an initial resistance, and then there is erosion. And when you see rock and water, You see that process all the time. The rock will maintain its position, but it doesn't take a lot. Just a drop, a consistent drop. Over time, it will start to create a path all throughout that rock and shape that rock. So, does the rock have the ability to maintain its position and its strength? Or does the little bitty drops of negative that hit us, the seeds that get planted, the elements of distrust, the elements of weakness, the elements of fear, the elements of doubt, the elements of what if, those elements little by little drop like raindrops and erode your internal landscape and change you. And you don't finish how you started.
Now, what I was going to say is this. The last part of verse 9 says, who shall rouse him up? Read that real quick, right? And then you got to head out here for this. Star one, we're going to need you.
Yes, I just think about it.
Okay.
Okay. Genesis chapter 49, verse 9 says, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
So what this verse is also saying is that the Most High is going to attempt to shake you out of your funk. The Most High is going to attempt with conditions around you to rouse you up and get you to want to fight. This is why the Most High brings calamities in your life. If you want to know why, oh why me, why am I going through this hell, why am I suffering here, why am I losing this, why did I lose my job, why did I go in jail, why did I have all this crap happen to me? The scripture here in verse 9 says, who shall rouse him up? Or what shall rouse you up? What's going to get you to actually want to fight your battle? Now, we read this a couple weeks ago in 1 Maccabees 9. Remember when Judas dies? All of his soldiers, which were maybe like 2,000 or 3,000 at the most, nobody wanted to fight. What roused them up? It was the famine first. And then remember, they were setting up that police state in Jerusalem. And they were going on manhunts, looking for everybody that was pro-Judas Maccabees and fought with him.
All his affiliates, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the block got so hot. And the pressure got so bad. I need you to wait until he actually comes. The pressure got so bad in the city that they had to do what? Jonathan, we chose you to lead us.
Yep.
We got to go back to war and actually fight these guys now. Now we got to fight our battle. Right? What is this explanation showing us? The Most High has enough love in his heart to make the conditions uncomfortable, damn near unbearable, to the point where I got to fight my battle. So he has enough love in his heart, to light a fire in our tail, to make us want to try. But you still got to want to try. Now, these men that worked up under Judas, they needed a little bit of fire and they made the change. The question is for you, what is it going to take to make you change? How many calamitous things have to happen in your life to get you to fight your battle? What do you have to go through and lose in your life to make you choose, I got to fight? Because the verse is saying, I'll make life uncomfortable for you to see if you rise up. But are you going to still sit back here and give in and just accept the worsened condition the Most High continues to put you in? He makes your conditions worse so that you say enough is a damn enough. I'm going to fight my battle. But how do we look at when the Most High worsens our condition? This isn't fair. I'm drowning. Woe is me. My life sucks. Why does my life suck so much? Why is the Most High abandoning me? Isn't that how we think?
Yep.
But he's making conditions worse to get you to get off your butt and fight. But what do you do when you're in that fight? He's trying to create a fight or flight condition. Are you going to fight or just give in and stay in this stooped, quitting position?
I like what you said. You said the Most High got enough love to stir us up. You know, the most it said the Most High speaketh once, yea, twice, but man perceiveth not. A lot of times the Most High be talking to us, but we don't see the how He's talking to us.
Because we can't get past what we're going through.
So say if I don't like washing dishes, you know, the first Most High He bring the gnats in the house.
Yeah. Here they come.
It be the gnats first.
Yeah.
And then it's the ants.
Yeah.
Then it's the big flies. Then
Those big flies,
Yeah.
they're bold and cocky. They're not going nowhere.
The horse flies, yeah.
They're like this.
Yeah. And then they
You got something to eat, man?
The eyes are bulging at
I
you.
want to get in, man. I want some of that chicken.
Yeah, then they all over the place. And then if not, he send these German guys over to you.
Oh, no.
The Germans,
Heil Hitler!
yeah, the Germans, man, the German cucarachas, they be in the house.
No good.
But
No good.
why does the Most High got to keep ramping up these critters?
Yeah.
Because he's trying to tell you, hey, get clean them dishes.
Yes.
But the Most High will incrementally do this, and then you see the mold, and then you see varmints come in, you see the raccoons come in, and rats coming in. I mean,
Then there's war. Then there's war.
it's like, okay, I got to start.
Either
cleaning up.
I'm going to kill him or I'm leaving the house. And they can have the house.
They can have it.
They can have this house. You can have it, man.
But-
Forget this.
We don't know the signs, but we don't pick up on it. Like the Most High is trying to talk to me. He's trying to send something as a reminder. Hey, I got to get on the ball. I got to start getting my stuff together. I got to get myself together. But we don't be picking up. He says the Most High speaketh once, but yea, twice. Man perceiveth not. We don't be understanding and catching when the Most High is trying to get our attention. When He's trying to say, hey, I'm creating these conditions because I'm trying to bring a fight out of you. But we don't see it.
Because we want to be comfortable. We're always looking for a break. We want to sit back and be that crouching old lion and don't do nothing about your circumstance. You want to be that old lion that says, man, conditions on earth are so messed up.
Yeah.
There's no water over here. That well dried up. Man, it sucks. There's no water here. Why is the Most High doing this to me? Why don't you get off your butt and walk to the next well and look for the well? I'm tired though, man. I want to rest. I like this tree. I don't want to get from this tree.
I'm too dehydrated to get to the next well.
Well, you're gonna die. You're gonna die dehydrated. This is the condition of man. Doesn't this verse bring a lot more light to it now? But this is not just the Judite condition. This is the Israelite condition. Everybody wants blessings to floweth from the heaveneth, without sitting back here by putting the work in and making the changes you got to make. How many L's do you got to take before you sit back here and fight your battle? How much worse does your living conditions have to be before you stand up and make a decision to fight and live a life of fighting?
How many health scares do you got to hear?
That's a real thing.
Yes, sir.
I was watching a documentary with my little ones. It was about lions. There was one lion kept running away whenever it seen hyenas coming through. It always run back. And then the older ones were the ones that killed it, and they were the ones that got the grub. They were able to eat it. And the young lion was just sitting there like, I can't eat that, man. I ain't win that battle. Then there was one time it got tired of being hungry. And
There you go. That'll
that'll
do it. Whatever they're about to do, that'll do it.
It literally was crouching on top of the lions, and then it started like being rowdy with the other ones. And now I'm gonna eat too as well. So this is on the point.
Listen, when you're tired of getting hungry, all of a sudden you get courage.
Yeah.
Courage, or it should. Courage to fight back pops up when you got to eat. But this is what the Most High does. He creates the famine. He creates these pressured conditions just to get these Jews that ran after Judas died to get back and fight. Because they weren't going to do it unless the Most High lit a fire under them. The question is, what do you have to lose and go through to light a fire under you? Make sense?
Huh?
All right. Now let's go back to 1 Maccabees, chapter 9. And what verse were we at, Kariah? It was verse 25, right? No, 26. 25? Yeah, do 26. 1 Maccabees 9 and 26. You can do whatever you got to do.
That's what I had for my country.
Yeah, for whatever comfort, whatever you need for comfort. Oh, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
That's all good.
Broke it or what?
No, it just...
Just gotta not put love.
That one.
Tahawam Rakha.
Shalom Shabbatah, Bana Shah, Banya Sha'al.
Ta'aramaka, Shabbat, Banashah, Banashah, Amach, Yahweh Hashem Yashabakata.
Yahweh Hashem Yashabakata.
That's what's up. Should have blew it. I messed up.
Well, we'll get to
I'm all discombobulated, man.
Good back here, brother.
Yeah.
Been a while. It's been 3
3 weeks does to you, man. Okay. Let's do 1 Maccabees 9 and verse 26.
Okay. First Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 26. And they made inquiry and searched for Judas's friends, and brought them unto Bacchus, who took vengeance of them, and used them despitefully.
So what's happening is the Mosai had the famine happen. Now he's sitting back here and doing manhunts for everybody that was with Judas. Some of them got caught, snatched, and abused, and tortured. So this is lighting the fire on everybody else saying, okay, listen, we got to come together and do something about this. We can't just go out like this. We're going to sit back here and get manhunts on us, and they're coming after our family. We're going to have to go fight and do what we've been running from. Right? It's the same concept. Continue, sir.
So was there a great affliction in Israel, the like whereof was not since the time that a prophet was not seen among them.
So he said things got so out of hand with order and a conscience of the Most High, like at the time of Judges when there was no king. So there was no order. It was a free-for-all. There was no government. Everybody was just going to get theirs. That's the theme that we're reading about. Okay? Read on.
For this cause, all Judas's friends came together.
And for this cause, because everything was too messed up, no order, it's chaos, everything's falling apart, they're out to kill him. With all these things happening, now somebody has to step up. And that was that linchpin, that scenario that said, okay, we got to come together and fight. Right? Read on.
And said unto Jonathan, since thy brother Judas died, we have no man like him to go forth against our enemies, and Bacchus, and against them of our nation that are adversaries to us. Now therefore we have chosen thee this day to be our prince and captain in this stead, that thou mayest fight our battles. Upon this Jonathan took the governance upon him at that time, and rose up instead of his brother Judas.
So once again, the Most High sat back here and created conditions to get Israel to rise up, stand up for what's right, and get back on path fighting for the nation, because nobody was advocating for the nation. Nobody was advocating for teaching, the priesthood, nothing. So let's jump to verse 32.
Verse 32. But when Bacchus got knowledge thereof, he sought for to slay him.
So once again, now, Bacchus' job was obviously to govern that entire jurisdiction. Whether it was Israel, Syria, Syria, or Cold Syria, he's governing that area, and he knows, okay, now he has intel there. He got snitches, he got spies. Jonathan was chosen to lead the rebellion. Now the goal is to sit back here and find him and eradicate him. Let's keep going.
Then Jonathan and Simon his brother and all that were with him perceived that, fled into the wilderness of the cove, and pitched their tent by the water of the pool Ashfal.
So what's happening now? We went over this a few weeks ago, but now Jonathan's in a situation where his development as a leader, his battle restarts over. Not Jonathan, but Judas, when it was his turn to lead, and Mattathias, their father, they both had to go on the run in the mountains to start off their leadership, to start off their campaigns as leaders. Jonathan's got to go through the same. He's going more into the swamplands versus his brother and father went into the mountains. But he's hiding out, escaping all the military pressure. Read on.
which when Bacchus understood, he came near to Jordan with all his host upon the Sabbath day.
And what we're reading about in verse 34 is Bacchus is doing the same tricks and tactics that Antiochus Epiphanes' men were doing to Israel many years before, where they would sit back here and test how much scriptural common sense you got. They knew the scouting report, so to speak, on the Jews was that they were highly religious, and you could wipe out this threat if you fought them on the Sabbath day. That was the first test. Jonathan realized it was a test and didn't eat the cheese. He got his men ready to fight on the Sabbath day. Okay, what is it saying? He's showing us that the Greeks understood that we were very religious and very
Shallow.
overboard in our daily application to things in life.
You mean that we're what's the better term for it? Would be like not rigid, but we're
Rich is a good word.
yeah, we're rigid and mechanical a lot of times.
We're very
It
mechanical.
doesn't mean spiritual,
We're mechanical.
because there's spirituality behind things and perception and the ability to make a choice off of the spirit. We get that. And then there's this mechanical element of us, which we got to be mechanical. We got to have mechanics. But we're so regimented into our mechanics that sometimes we defy practicality. We don't have the discernment to know which one applies. You get the point?
Mm-hmm.
I could be so caught up into, like in the scriptures, it's the Sabbath, the nations walking past, they can see inside that we're hiding in this cave, but we can't move the rock to hide ourselves because it's the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Very mechanic based without spiritual common sense. The common sense is, yes, it's the Sabbath, but you want to die today? Move the rock over the cave opening so they can't see you. No, it's the Shabbat.
That's
It's the
the thing.
Shabbat. Okay, everybody's dead.
Yep.
And then the Maccabees is like, listen, we're not gonna do that.
And that's the
We're
point.
not gonna do that.
Yep. And so what the Most High is doing, he is testing Jonathan's practicality,
Yeah.
just like he tested Judas's practicality, just like he tested Mattathias' practicality. And this process goes on and on and on for each newly christened leader of the nation. But let's continue.
Verse 35.
I want to try to get this chapter done. I doubt we'll be able to, but we're going to just try to go through as fast as possible. Let's keep going, though.
Now Jonathan had sent his brother John, a captain of the people, to pray his friends the Nabathites, that they might leave with them their carriage, which was much.
So, back in those days, they were trying to, well, Jonathan knew this war was coming. Jonathan sits back here and says, well, this is before the war, before the fight. They're in the woods. Everybody picked up everything they owned from their families and went out to the marshland to survive. The problem was there's a lot of goods and items that you just can't keep in the woods. So they asked these Nabathites, who had been allies to Judas many years ago, to look after their stuff, put it in storage, so they can be free enough to roam and go where they need to go. It's about having freedom of motion. It's like we're all here and everybody in the camp, all their stuff's in the backyard. You can't, what happens when everybody leaves? People are going to go take your stuff. So they try to put it in safekeeping while they're on the run. So the initial deal was that these Nabathites, which were Arabians, were going to take the goods, handle them, and hold on to them for them, right? So what verse are we at?
Verse 36.
Okay.
But the children of Jambri came out of Medaba, and took John, and all that he had, and went their way with him.
So what they did is, these children of Jambri, which were not the Nabathites, it was a different set of people. Remember many class ago, it was not Ezra. Was it Ezra? It was Ezra. Remember Ezra petitioned to the king that they need to get all their stuff, and they didn't need any security to go from Babylon all the way to Jerusalem. But then when they started walking, they said, damn, well, we need security. But Ezra said, man, I can't sit back here and look like a sucker to the king.
Yeah.
I told them the Most High had our
Yeah,
back.
you can't have no
So,
detail.
so we sat back here and they split all the gold up with different groups so that they wouldn't get snatched. Why was that? Because there were always a lot of thieves and raiders and hustlers and thugs out there on those highways, a lot of pirates.
Yeah.
They were known to be pirates in that region. So what ends up happening now, this brother John, which was brother of Jonathan, he was in charge of getting everybody's goods from point A, where they're at, to this Nabathite camp. In the midst of him bringing all the goods to this Nabathite camp, these children of Jambri catch him slipping, stick up kids. They take all their goods, and they end up killing John. Okay? Read on. What verse are we at?
Verse 37. After this came word to Jonathan and Simon his brother, that the children of Jambri made a great marriage, and were bringing the bride from Nadabatha with a great train, as being the daughter of one of the great princes of Canaan.
So now, they already know that their brother John was killed. All their stuff is taken. Later on, they get intel that the same culprits are having a big wedding, a big feast day. And during the wedding and the feast day, everybody normally is what? Security is thin. Nobody's expecting. Everybody's celebrating, drinking and calming down and relaxing, and nobody's ready for war on that day. So Jonathan and Simon are like, okay, we're going to catch these dudes slipping on that day to avenge their brother John and to get their stuff back. Read on.
Then it says like, therefore they remembered John their brother, and went up and hid themselves under the covert of the mountain, where they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, there was much ado and great carriage. And the bridegroom came forth, and his friends and brethren, to meet them with the drums and instruments of music and many weapons. Then Jonathan and they that were with him rose up against them from the place where they lay in ambush, and made a slaughter of them in such sort as many fell down dead. And the remnant fled into the mountain, and they took all their spoils. Thus was the marriage turned into mourning, and the noise of their melody into lamentation. So when they had avenged fully the blood of their brother, they turned again to the marsh of Jordan.
So then they went back to the marsh or the swampland of Jordan where they were hanging out at or where they were posted up at. We're going to read this real quick. We're going to read Josephus, book 13, chapter 1, paragraph 2 and 4. So it's book 13, chapter 1, paragraph 2 and paragraph 4.
So book 13, chapter 1. It's like paragraph.
2 and 4.
Antiquities of the Jews, book 13, chapter 1, paragraph 3.
2.
That's a lot. Paragraph 2. When Bacchides heard this, and was afraid that Jonathan might be very troublesome to the king and the Macedonians, as Judas had been before him, he sought how he may slay him by treachery. But this intention of his was not unknown to Jonathan, nor his brother Simon. But when these two were apprised of it, they took all their companions, and presently fled into that wilderness which was nearest to the city. And when they were come to the lake called Ashfar, they abode there. But when Bacchides was sensible that they were in a low state, and were in that place, he hasted to fall upon them with all his forces, and pitching his camp beyond Jordan, he recruited his army.
No. That's paragraph 3?
Well, paragraph 2.
I'm sorry.
Line 9.
Okay. Keep going.
Paragraph 2, line 9. But when Bacchides was sensible that they were in a low state and were in that place, he hasted to fall upon them with all his forces. And pitching his camp beyond Jordan, he recruited his army. But when Jonathan knew that Bacchides was coming upon him, he slew his brother John.
No, he sent his brother John. He didn't kill his brother.
Sorry.
Oh.
He sent his brother John, who was also called Gallus, to the Nabatean Arabs, that he might lodge his baggage with them until the battle with Bacchides should be over.
Mm-hmm.
For they were a Jew's friend. And the sons of Embri laid an ambush for John from the city Medaba, and seized upon him and upon those that were with him, and plundered all that they had with them. They also slew John and his companions. However, they were sufficiently punished for what they now did by John's brethren, as we shall relate presently.
Jump to paragraph 4, explains what they did.
Paragraph 4, line 18. About the same time, one came to Jonathan and to his brother Simon, and told them that the sons of Embri were celebrating a marriage, and bringing the bride from the city Gabbatha, who was the daughter of one of the illustrious men among the Arabians, and that the damsel was to be conducted with pomp and splendor, and much riches. So Jonathan and Simon, thinking this appeared to be the fittest time for them to avenge the death of their brother, and that they had forces sufficient to receiving satisfaction from them for his death, they made haste to Medaba, and laid in wait among the mountains for the coming of their enemies. And as soon as they saw them conducting the virgin and the bridegroom, and such a great company of their friends with them as was to be expected at his wedding, they sallied out of their ambush, and slew them all, and took their ornaments, and all the prey that then followed them, and so returned, and received this satisfaction for their brother John from the sons of Embri. For as well these sons themselves as their friends and wives and children that followed them perished, being in number about 400.
Okay, hold that. And now let's get back to Maccabees, verse 43. First Maccabees 9 and verse 43.
First Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 43. Now when Bacchides heard thereof, he came on the Sabbath day unto the bank of Jordan with a great power. Then Jonathan said to his company.
So what's happening is this. Just on a timeline thing, they didn't get retribution. This way. They didn't get retribution against these Nabateans until after this battle. But I just want to kind of keep the theme kind of in line.
Okay.
They end up fighting Bacchides before they end up getting revenge on their brother John's death. Just for context sake. So read verse 43 again.
Verse 43. Now when Bacchides heard hereof, he came on the Sabbath day unto the banks of Jordan with a great power. Then Jonathan said to his company, Let us go up now and fight for our lives. For it standeth not with us today, as in time past. For behold, the battle is before us and behind us, and the water of Jordan on this side and that side.
So they were cornered. Jordan was behind them. All they could do is face this battle or run. So we got into fight on this Sabbath day because all we got is water behind us. There's no turning back. Read on.
The marsh likewise and wood, neither is there place for us to turn aside. Wherefore cry ye now unto heaven, that ye may be delivered from the hand of your enemies. With that they joined battle, and Jonathan stretched forth his hand to smite Bacchides, but he turned back from him. Then Jonathan and they that were with him leapt into Jordan, and swam over onto the farther bank. Howbeit the others passed not over Jordan unto them.
So they're saying is, Jonathan and his men made one go at trying to kill him. It didn't work. Then they left. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Is that Jonathan wasn't Judas? I'll tell you that much. Jonathan wasn't Judas, and his valor wasn't at the same level as Judas. I'm not going to go into all the detail about it. We went into it a few weeks ago.
Okay.
We're just doing a recap today. But
We showed the parallels of the two different fighting styles,
Exactly.
both of Jonathan and Judas.
mhm.
One would have fought to the death. The other one tucked tail, made an attempt, and
I'm gonna take one. I'm gonna take
Yeah.
one hit at him.
And if I don't get him and throw a Hail Mary,
It wasn't meant to be.
then we out of here.
Yeah. And you know the crazy thing is the Most High loved him just like he loved Judas. Everybody ain't gonna have that same spirit. But it wasn't like what Jonathan was wicked. It was just more pragmatic and less fearless. And Judas was very bold, and the Most High backed that bold move. He backed that bold man, and he backed the pragmatic man.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't do it like we read it earlier a couple weeks ago that we aren't supposed to judge another man's servant. Most High has Jonathan going the path he's going. He had Judas go the path he's going. Just is what it is. So let's continue. What verse are we at?
Verse 49. So there were slain of Bacchides' side that day about 1,000 men.
So yeah, they got 1,000. They knocked 1,000 down. But they had to swim a long distance through that Jordan. Well, let's continue.
Afterward returned Bacchides to Jerusalem and repaired the strong cities in Judea, the fort in Jericho, and Emmaus,
Matter
and
of fact.
Beth-Horon, and Bethel, and Thamnatha, Parathoni, and Tophon. These did he strengthen with high walls, with gates, and with bars.
So what did he do? He sat back here and fortified any cities that he thought might have been a target for Jonathan when he reestablished himself. Because he understood he left that battle, but he's coming back. And he's going to probably need supplies. So he's not going to go at these big towns. He's going to go at these small, unfortified cities like Judas did to get supplies and to sustain his men like he's done in the past. So we're like, I know his MO. We're going to go try to make this happen, figure out, fortify these cities so he can't just go take supplies and squeeze them out that way. Okay, that's his plan. Continue.
And in them he set a garrison, that they might work malice upon Israel. He fortified also the city Bethsura, and Gazara, and the tower, and put forces in them, and provisions of victuals.
So even then, he sat back here and fortified these regions as much as possible to circumvent any attack that Jonathan and his men might have. Read on.
Besides,
And to be specific, I'm sorry. He said, and in them he set a garrison, meaning he put police stations in each of these cities he fortified. Then he says that they might work malice upon Israel. Malice on Israel from the outside and also malice on the inside. What do you think he was doing? How was he creating malice on Israel on the inside?
The same way that police do it today when they do a stop and frisk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll shake you down and run your ID, do a background check. Who are you? You got ID on you. We call it profiling. You know, we're going to profile you.
Yep.
You look like a criminal. You look like somebody that broke into something.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to shake you down for no reason, just because your appearance.
Yep. And they're going to put fear into anybody that might try to help them. What do you think they're trying to do? If you're helping these guys, we're going to put all the weight and pressure of the law against you guys. So you're not going to sit back here and feel comfortable and emboldened to fuel this rebellion. We're going to sit back here and squash this as soon as possible. This is also what Bacchides is doing. Brilliant move. He was pretty much like, if you guys sit back here and follow these rebels, we're going to lean on you. We're going to lean on you hard. Okay? Let's go real quick to paragraph 3 in the Josephus.
You want
Paragraph 3.
line 12?
Back to 3 or?
Back to 3. We never read 3. We did paragraph 2 and paragraph 4. So it's Judas. I mean, it's Josephus, book 13, chapter 1, paragraph 3 now.
God. Antiquities of the Jews, book 13, chapter 1, paragraph 3, line 12, page 336. But when Bacchides knew that Jonathan had pitched his camp among the lake of Jordan, he observed when their Sabbath day came, and then assaulted him, and supposing that he would not fight because of the law for resting on that day, but he exhorted his companions to fight, and told them that their lives were at stake, since they were encompassed by the river and by their enemies, and had no way to escape, for that their enemies pressed upon them before, and the river was behind them. So after he had prayed to the Most High to give them victory, he joined battle with the enemy, and of whom he overthrew many. And as he saw Bacchides coming up boldly to him, he stretched out his right hand to smite him. But the other, foreseeing and avoiding the stroke, Jonathan with his companions leaped into the river and swam over it, and by that means escaped beyond Jordan.
Now listen. Jonathan prayed for what?
Deliverance.
Victory. Did he get it? Why am I even bringing this up? Just because you pray for something doesn't mean you get it. Just because you pray for something with a good intention doesn't mean you get it.
The thing that he did get was the opportunity, though.
For more time.
And to even take that strike at his enemy. He didn't get the victory, but the Most High gave him a chance. He gave him an opportunity. And a lot of times it's what we do with those opportunities that matter. It's not like the Most High didn't give him a chance to take his head off. He had a chance to cut his head off.
Yep.
But he missed.
And it wasn't the Most High's will for Bacchides to go down that day. A lot of times Akim and everyone, we have plans about how we think things are going to turn out. We have these ideas of how the Most High is going to come through for us and work his work in a way that's convenient to us. And that's not his will. The Most High's will was to definitely look after Jonathan, but not in the way that Jonathan was expecting it to happen. And that's what I'm trying to drive out. Like, listen, the Most High wants to bless you, but he's going to bless you his way, not the way you think it's going to go. Because as you read down these chapters, the Most High does bless Jonathan. But it's the way the Most High wants Jonathan to get set up. And the Most High wants to sit back here and get his glory and set up, not the way you want it. Why is that important? A lot of times, I'm going to bring it in this situation. How many times have you counseled brothers and you've taught people and you've given people good advice and good scriptures and you're doing good and you expect, what do you expect back in return after you give good counsel and development and teaching?
Some type of follow through.
Some type of change and response. People listen to your counsel and they changed, they got better, or they told you thank you.
Yep.
But a lot of times when you do the right thing and teach and counsel, you might not get the thank yous. You might not get the responses back. You might not get the change you want from the person that you develop. Still doesn't change the fact that you have to do your job, teach, give, counsel, commit. Doesn't matter. Can I do the right thing, pray that the Most High responds in the way that I want? And then whatever I get back, I get back. Luke 17:10 talks about how we're unprofitable servants. We're supposed to do what we're supposed to do what we're called to do. Even when we're praying, we have to be cautious that the Most High don't got to give you everything you want in your prayers. He doesn't have to give you that. What did he promise us? Food and clothing.
Yeah, food and raiment.
And shelter. That's what he promised us. Anything outside of that is a want. I'm taking my time to explain that because a lot of times we pray, and that's why Christ said, I don't want to do all this repetitive prayers and repetitive prayers and repetitive prayers. Because why does a person keep praying for the same thing day in and day out, and day in and day out, and day in and day out? Because they don't think the Most High is listening. Then they're angry that the Most High didn't hear them the first time. So you're going to say it a second and third time, and a fourth time, and a fifth time, and a 20th time, and a 60th time. Maybe we're supposed to pray, go do our job, and focus on changing what's inside of us. And whatever the Most High, however He blesses me, be content with that. Because we'll get so narrowed in on the particular request we're asking for that we're still not seeing how the Most High is benefiting us on a daily basis. And we'll get depressed and sad because I'm not getting what I asked for. Hell, even in this battle, the Most High spared Jonathan and his men's life. That was enough. No, you're not going to give Bacchus the kill shot like Judas did many moons ago with his other enemies, whether it was Nicanor or whoever. You're not going to get it that way. The Most High is like, with you, Jonathan, you're not getting that glory, that same kind of glory I gave Jonathan. I'm going to give you a different kind of blessing. And you got to wait until I give you what I want to give you.
And this is why Christ in Matthew chapter 6, he says, for your heavenly Father knoweth what ye have need of. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I have to be repetitive in prayer, because the Most High does know what we need. And when you look at, we were talking about earlier about, just in measure, if a woman want a husband or a man want a wife, when you go back and look at the first marriage ever created in the Bible, what emphasis did Adam have in picking his wife? None.
Yeah.
He had no emphasis.
He had no say.
He had no emphasis and no say so.
Yeah, she got to be around 5'11",
about 5'6", about 145.
They get these measurements.
36.
I'm going to throw this measurement request
26.
in, Father. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Huh?
This height, such and such, curls.
Yeah.
He had no emphasis whatsoever. But if the Most High knows what you need, then what we learned from the beginning of the Bible, the first marriage was brought together without that man's say so, and without that man's input. The Most High put Adam to sleep, and then created a woman that was meet for him, a helpmeet, an equivalent that was right for him. So a lot of times, what we see is it's vanity and a waste of time to be about chasing our own vain pursuits that the Most High didn't co-sign. And a lot of these things that we do is we institute these relationships. We institute and try to force the course of the river and make these things happen. And it's not the Most High's will. And then it blows up in our face or it dissolves. And it's something that we created. It's not something that we let the Most High create for us. We rush the course. We rush the situation. When the first marriage was put together by the Most High's design, because the Most High truly knows what you need. And He'll bring it to you at the right time.
And that was what I was trying to bring out. Jonathan was a good man, was doing the right thing, and he didn't get the blessing how he was expecting it. He got it a different way. We can't forget that. Because we'll sit back here, have our hearts set on getting blessed a certain way and getting a certain thing that confirms the Most High is with me. Because we'll sit back here and our whole faith is predicated on this expectation that this thing has got to go a certain way.
If it comes out this way, that's how I know
the Most High is with me.
That's the common thing.
And that there is an aspect of control and pride behind those.
And if you don't come through at this time or this time, this way,
and how I want it,
then I'm not doing this no more. That's the next stage of the conversation.
Exactly.
People get themselves to.
And this is why you have to be obedient and do things the right way, regardless of if blessings don't turn out how you want them to turn out.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's continue into Josephus.
Jonathan with his companions leaped into the river and swam over it, and by that means escaped beyond Jordan, while the enemy did not pass over that river. But Bacchus returned presently to the citadel at Jerusalem.
That citadel was that stronghold inside the city where you can really control the nation from that citadel. Menelaus did it many years ago. Judas, when he was on power, did it. Alchemists, even right now, is still doing it. Read on.
Having lost about 2,000 of his army. He also fortified many cities of Judea, whose walls had been demolished, Jericho and Mons, and Bethoron, and Bethel, and Timnah, and Parathlo, and Tekoa, and Gazara, and built towers in every one of these cities.
Listen, now that you're building towers in these small cities, where can you go get supplies? Where can you get recruits? Where can you get other military men? You want to sit back and do a siege? Do you have the men for a siege? Do you have the supplies for a siege? Hell no, you don't. Tactically, Bacchides was on point. So not only did he set up barriers and walls in each of these cities, then we're going to read he starts to instill fear in the public. And then he ends up sitting back here and takes every leader of every town and kidnaps their children for leverage purposes to make sure that those leaders enforce Bacchides' Greek policies. Read on.
And encompassed them with strong walls, that they were very large also, and put garrisons into them.
They put small mini soldier military installations there. Read on.
That they might issue out of them and do mischief to the Jews. He also fortified the citadel at Jerusalem more than all the rest. Moreover, he took the sons of the principal Jews as pledges.
So listen, that means he took all the sons of the Jews with money and influence and took their sons, took their children. So once their sons are taken, he sent them to the citadel. And like, listen, play ball with me. Use your political influence and your financial influence to back the Greek way, and your sons and your daughters will be alive. If not, they'll die. And that's how he ensured the investment of the walls and all the structural scenarios were actually going to be intact and maintained. The funny thing is this. Bacchides is doing things textbook to ensure that the Greek way is preserved. But from the Most High's perspective, what did the Most High instill in Bacchides to do? What did the Most High do? What did the Most High do using Bacchides? What did he do for the Jews at this particular point? I know y'all haven't read further up, so I'm going to answer the question. He sat back here and rebuilt everybody's cities on the house. But do you see it that way? When things are going bad, can you see the Most High is really working in your favor? No, you can't. It's very hard to see at this time how the Most High was really changing everything to work on the Jew side. The Jews, Jonathan and these men, didn't have the resource to build these walls. They were broke on the run this whole time. The Most High refortifies everybody, all these cities, and in the snap of a finger, the Most High is going to sit back here and give Jonathan the power position. But this is how the Most High does it. Okay? So, where are we at? Did we finish that? Did we finish that paragraph?
We have to do verse line 17.
Let's keep going.
Line 17. He also fortified the citadel at Jerusalem more than all the rest. Moreover, he took the sons of the principal Jews as pledges and shut them up in the citadel, and in that manner guarded it.
Okay. Now, let's get back in Judas. First Maccabees 9, and go to verse. Let's do 50 again.
First Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 50. Afterward, returned Bacchides to Jerusalem and repaired the strong cities in Judea, the fort in Jericho, and Emmaus, and Beth Horon, and Bethel, and Thamnatha, Parathoni, and Taphon. These did he strengthen with high walls, with gates, and with bars. And in them he set a garrison, that they might work malice upon Israel. He fortified also the city Bethsura and Gazara, and the tower, and put forces in them, and provisions of victuals. Besides, he took the chief men's sons in the country for hostages, and put them into the tower at Jerusalem to be kept. Moreover, in the 150th and third year, in the second month, Alcimus, commanded that the wall of the inner court of the sanctuary should be pulled down. He pulled down also the works of the prophets.
So, what's happening now in verse 54 is that Alcimus is the high priest of the Jews at the time. Okay? And now, what's about to happen is everything's going to shift and start transferring back in Jonathan's favor, even though Jonathan hasn't won a battle yet. Okay? So, read that part again, verse 54.
Verse 54. Moreover, in the 153rd year, in the 2nd month, Alcimus commanded that the wall of the inner court of the sanctuary should be pulled down. He pulled down also the works of the prophets.
So once again, Alcimus, now that Jonathan and the significant threat in Israel is laid to rest. Jonathan and them are in the marshlands, they're running, they're hiding. All the cities are fortified. They're all pro-Greek. Alcimus, which is the one guy that's the high priest that has the literal connection with Demetrius, the king Demetrius and Bacchides. Now he's sitting back here and setting up plans to tear down walls in the temple, tear down all the works of the prophets. The works of the prophets are the scriptures. That's the works of the prophets. So he's sitting back here now, about to get rid of a lot of the substantial things of the prophet's history. Read on.
Verse 55. And as he began to pull down, even at that time was Alcimus plagued, and his enterprises hindered.
So the Most High immediately didn't let his work get hindered. The messages that the prophets put down the wall of the temple. Why would the wall of the temple be brought down? When you break down the wall of the temple, you allow all kind of foreign invaders to have access to that aspect of the city walls. Let me try to find an example. Accurate, that works. If you look online, if they allowed the top wall to be exposed, they still have the bottom wall protecting the other part of the city.
And remember, a couple months ago, we went through how the other nations they see an economic opportunity coming into the city.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the guy that set up the fish market?
Yeah.
He had the fish frying.
Fresh fish on Sabbath.
On the Sabbath.
The fish was cooking out.
Yeah. But
Israel about to break out.
But when you look at our people, look at how when our neighborhoods are compromised, how the Chinese come and run the flea markets.
Mm-hmm.
How the Arabs come and set up a liquor store and a corner store.
Yeah.
How the Indians come in and set up a slushy market and a quickie market.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're vulnerable. When our neighborhoods are compromised, we're vulnerable to be sold old meat, stale meat, bad produce, bad products, toxic products by other nations that look at us as just a dollar. But that's the opportunity when we're compromised. We're looked at as economic, commodities.
Yeah.
And that's the same with these Greeks. They can commodify us easily. But that's when the temple is compromised, Jerusalem is compromised. Like Christ said, man, my Father's house is supposed to be a house of prayer. And now it's inhabited by a den of thieves. Now it's exchangers, now it's a bunch of buying and selling. Because now it's about enterprise and economy. Because that's how they look at us.
And also, part of if I'm not mistaken, it was Antiochus' son said, "Listen, I need you to open up a part of this gate, so we can have access to it."
Yeah.
So
Keep it open.
Keep it open and exposed. And Alcimus was like, "I'm not going to leave a crack. I'm going to leave this whole damn wall open, so people can come in and out as they please. And there's no defenses for the temple." This is what Alcimus is doing. No defenses for the temple, and I'm going to set it up to where the works of the Lord are going to get removed. Whether it's the works of the prophets, whatever it was, Alcimus was trying to remove it. And immediately as they start this process, the Most High plagues Alcimus or Alchemist with sickness.
It's almost like even in current events when, Barron Trump, Donald Trump's son, was in on taking Gaza, and after all the villages in Gaza been burned and bombed to rubbish, he said, we're going to turn this into a villa.
Yeah.
And we're going to turn this into a tourist spot,
Yeah.
where you can come in and there's going to be some high rises, There's going to be some shopping marts. It's going to be like the French Riviera. So, the nation see economy. They don't see legacy. They don't see culture. They don't see worship. They don't see religion.
How can we make money?
They say, how can we make some money in here? It's money to be made over here. It's money in the hood.
Huh?
Yeah.
So this is what's happening. The Most High is about to sit back here and remove or take alchemists or alchemists off the board. Okay. So where are we at? That's verse 50. What?
Verse 55. For his mouth.
Yeah, let's do that.
For his mouth was stopped, and he was taken with a palsy, so that he could no more speak anything, nor give order concerning his house.
Listen, it seems like the Most High had to sit back here and intervene and make these changes. He didn't want Jonathan to get the glory. The Most High was going to get the glory. And he's like, no, I'm not going to let this guy say another word. So he was paralyzed. He became paralyzed and couldn't say anything or do anything. That was the Most High's justice. Okay? Let's continue.
Man.
What's that?
It's just the timing
Yes.
of that, man.
Yes.
So as this guy thought to strip down the temple, he got hit with a paralysis.
Well, it was almost like that's the final blow. Everything else was working the Greek way. The Most High was like, no, I'm going to wait to the very last minute where it seems like all hope is lost. And then I'm going to come through. Think about this. Everything was fortified. The political leaders were all bribed or incentivized to keep the Greek pot so their children will get kidnapped and killed or killed. They're already kidnapped. Everything was going against the right way and the right path. And then the Moses says, okay, this is enough. Now the temple is going to get touched. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to step in and change everything overnight. Now Alcimus has the palsy. He can't speak. He's incapacitated. The construction or the deconstruction of the wall stops. The work, the decommissioning of the prophets have stopped. All that work that was being put into this has now stopped.
A lot of times the Most High intervenes like that when the pride of the nations are at their height.
I know.
It's like the Most High said in Obadiah concerning Edom. He says, once thou exalt thyself as the eagle, he says, thence I shall bring thee down, saith the Lord. So it's not until somebody is at the pinnacle and the peak of their pride.
Full spectrum domination.
I got full spectrum domination. I got total control. Nobody can stop me. Look at who's gonna slow me down. I got total control over this scenario. And that's when the Most High, at the height of a man's pride, and when a man feels like he cannot be touched, is when the Most High, brings out that fall. Brings that fall to his pride going before destruction.
God.
And that's a true proverb.
And it's also a reminder that, listen, man, we have our ways of doing things. We have our plans. We have our ideals. But when it really boils down to it, this is about the Most High getting his glory.
Yep.
So you might want things that make you glorified. Or you might want blessings that elevate you and make you feel good. But it's not about that. It's about the Most High in Christ getting their glory.
Yep.
And ultimately, that's how scenarios are measured. That's how situations end up being resolved by the Most High getting his glory. And we have to be conscious of that.
And the tide changed at that point. Imagine if he didn't strike him with that palsy, that paralysis, or whatever stroke or whatever it is he gave him. They wouldn't have anywhere to serve the Lord.
Done.
The place to serve the Lord would have been nixed.
Yep. And then there would have been no hope, no opportunity. But this is how the Most High works it. He takes us to the very brink, and then he delivers us. It was no different than in Egypt when Egypt was right on our tail. And then right before they get to us, the river opens. Then we have our escape. This is how the Most High does it. This is how he does it.
Or Elijah being on the run from Jezebel and hiding in the cave. And the Most High told him, I got 7,000 that have not bowed the knee to Baal. Like, why are you running in this cave? Why are you isolating yourself in depression? The Most High always keeps a righteous population or a righteousness upon the earth so that evil doesn't completely consume it. Yeah. Even today.
And this is why with when Maduro getting arrested, it's really, I was talking to Kyle Cobb, it's a real, like, the Latin American community is really pissed off. I literally heard an interview with Trump. He says, yeah, Colombia's next.
Yeah.
He says, Colombia's next. You guys are next. He's not playing ball. I forgot the guy's name. He's not playing ball. Colombia's next. And they've still been trying to break Cuba. Venezuela and Cuba have been working together, rebuilding their countries. They want to crush Cuba, destroy Colombia, and subjugate the entire country that the Monroe Doctrine they claim is theirs. Because Esau had the Monroe Doctrine, and all that said is no European nation has the opportunity to do any business or have any planes, bases, nowhere in this country. From damn Mexico all the way down to South America is ours. That's what the Monroe Doctrine says. And if anybody wants to come over in our area, we're going to war with you. But if that's not gangster stuff, I don't know what is. This is my whole set. Don't try to come over here. We won't mess with you, but don't come over here until they decide to go to Europe and take everywhere else also.
Yeah.
But it started off with the Monroe Doctrine because the United States in the early 1900s didn't want to leave that jurisdiction. And they got pulled into World War I, World War II. And after that, after WW2 in 1945, they made the decision to be a global power. And so the process of going to Korea and everywhere else to take control from there. Anyway, what am I trying to say? The Most High pushed us to the brink of failure, brink of collapse, and he rescued us by taking out Alcimus. Okay? What verse are we at, sir?
Verse 56.
Read that.
So Alcimus died at that time with great torment.
And he deserved it. And you notice the ones who are really wicked, they die like cruel, horrible deaths. And that's not like by mistake. It's by design. The Most High knows when you sit back and die that difficult death, you deserve that difficult death.
Like Antiochus Epiphanes.
Exactly. It's the same scenario.
Like Jezebel, eaten by dogs.
Yep. I heard that those dogs in Israel or in that region are really vicious. No, it's not. They said it's not. He says those animals, they're on a whole nother level. He said those animals are scavengers, they're killers, they're monsters. It's not like regular hood dogs.
Oh.
He said those Middle Eastern dogs are like vicious.
Oh, word.
Listen, I wouldn't doubt they're like hyenas. It's running the street out. Watch out for those damn dogs. Listen, to eat a whole human being out? What kind of animal is that? And it didn't take long. What kind of teeth do they have? Listen, dogs' teeth are not meant to eat bone and flesh like that. Like human bone? Anyway, just saying.
It wasn't
those animals were different. They're on a different level.
Yeah.
But let's go to Josephus, book 12, chapter 10, paragraph 6. The funny thing is they have the death of Alchemist in the Josephus way earlier than in the Maccabees, yes, in the Apocrypha. So it's Antiquities of the Jews, book 12, chapter 10, paragraph 6.
Okay. Antiquities of the Jews, book 12, chapter 10, paragraph 6, line 413. That's page 333. But now, as the high priest Alcimus was resolving to pull down the wall of the sanctuary, which had been there of old time, and had been built by the holy prophets, he was smitten suddenly by the Most High, and fell down. This stroke made him fall down speechless upon the ground, and undergoing torments for many days. He at length died, when he had been high priest 4 years.
And don't forget, he was made high priest by Antiochus, and he didn't come from the proper lineage to even be the high priest, but he died a long, difficult death. Read on.
And when he was dead, the people bestowed the high priesthood on Judas.
Well, see, this is where it gets kind of like, how was it on Judas when Judas died? So you get officially, historically, Judas was never made high priest. Jonathan was made high priest, not Judas.
In the family, right? Family, obviously.
It's the family, but I'm just trying to make sure we read it. I'm not trying to run from the issue, but historically, Judas was never known as the high priest. He was still in war this whole time. But the family line, after Alchemist's death, ends up going to the Hasmonean line, which is Mattathias, Judas, Jonathan, Simon, John Hyrcanus, so forth and so on. Okay? So now let that go. And we're going to go back to 1 Maccabees 9 and verse 57.
57. Okay.
Yes.
First Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 57. Now when Bacchides saw that Alcimus was dead, he returned to the king, whereupon the land of Judah was in rest 2 years.
So once again, the Most High is giving Israel breaks like he did with Judas. It's just in different ways. Judas sat back here and went to war and was whipping, you know what, killing nations, killing tribes, killing people, and the wars would stop the scenarios. Then as time progressed, the Most High had to sit back and just do significant intervention to create the peace.
God.
So right now, Jonathan didn't win one war, but the Most High wipes out Alcimus, creates peace, and brings peace for 2 years in the nation. Okay? Read on.
Then all the ungodly men had a council, saying, Behold, Jonathan and his company are at ease, and dwell without care.
It's almost like the wicked just can't survive. They can't rest unless all the threats are removed and pushed out the way. It's like they're not going to stop until Jonathan and any resistance is eliminated. This is why when you read Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, right? When you read about the wicked is universal, man. The wicked is wicked in Israel, wicked Edomites. These are wicked Jews sitting back here. There's peacetime. And these wicked Jews are like, man, you know what? Jonathan, where is Jonathan right now in this time of peace? He's still in the damn what?
Sure.
He's in the Sherwood Forest.
Yeah.
I'm fighting off damn swamp. Whatever the hell's going on in the swamp. Am I right or wrong?
Super.
There's no war. Is that for us?
Cut.
I'm just asking, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I got distracted for us. What's that deliciousness in there?
That's why I didn't say that.
I was like, I think it's time for us to try to drink here, son. Everybody online, don't look at the images on there, man. We don't believe in it. We don't believe in those images, but we sure will drink what's in there.
Oh, got some herbs in here.
We don't partake in these colors. None of that. But this is a delicious drink.
Honestly, it's way better than when they had Pride Month.
I wouldn't put that on. That will stay out there and get cold. I am not bringing them.
No, I'm just saying.
Cups.
You're at the mall and you're shopping, and you have things to pick up, and they give you a bag after you buy everything, and you don't know. You look at it, and the bag has a rainbow. Like, here you go. Like, you gotta walk around with the bag like Route 21. I just bought from Route 21. But I support.
Why are you at Route 21 in the first place?
Well, I'm just saying.
Why the argument Route 21? I'm not messing with you. You just throw it out of name. I'm just saying.
It looks kind of bad, bro. It looks bad. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So it could be worse.
You're grateful across the board. And if Israelites catch other brothers at Route 21, we have a council. It's a council.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even know if they have a men's section. I don't know. I'm just talking stupid.
They do.
Do they? That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm just being silly.
It's a little tight stuff. Something little. It fits, sir.
Yes. It better work out.
Yeah.
If you're over 21, it's a problem.
Yeah. Bruh.
Why are you still in that stove?
I know it's the RU21, but I'm really just add 20 more years to that, man.
Let's keep going.
Anyway. Okay. What verse we at? Verse 47?
58.
Okay.
This is like helping my stuff out.
Read verse 58.
Verse 58. Then all the godly men held a council, saying, Behold, Jonathan and his company are at ease, and dwell without care. Now therefore will we bring Bacchus hither, who shall take them all in one night.
It's still about, I was mentioning earlier, the wicked is Israel, wicked is Esau, is anybody who just can't rest in life without their righteous opponents being vanquished. That element is always here on earth. You can't escape that dynamic where there's good is, evil is present. You can't get around that amongst your own nation or amongst the enemies that the Most High set before us. So what's happening is everybody is at peace. Jonathan's in the swamps, and they're going to go to war with Jonathan and pick a fight.
What God says, look at the cost of peace.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of peace, who's going to be living in the swamps?
Done.
Until the Most High points, hey, cool. It's
Done.
fine.
Done. So let's continue.
So they went and consulted with him. Then removed he and came with a great host, and sent letters privately to his adherents.
But real quick, this is the whole point about even with Alchemist. Alchemist dies, but you had a bunch of people who rode like Alchemist and agreed with Alchemist. He's dead. Nobody learned the lesson.
He didn't die. He died, but the spirit of alchemists.
There's always a
didn't
Sith
die.
Lord there. There's always somebody that wants to do what they want to do.
And wants the opportunity.
Khan. So that never changes. The idea that everybody's going to be righteous, that's not going to happen. That's TV stuff. There's always going to be that righteous force and negative force constantly fighting for power and control.
Like you said, good is set against evil.
There's no getting around that.
And the godly against the sinner.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it was. Find that verse. That's
So Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, no. You got it?
Yeah, Ecclesiastes chapter 19, verse 19 and 30. Let's see.
Anybody got it?
33 and 14. Ecclesiastes 33 and 14.
Okay. Read that for me, sir.
Ecclesiastes chapter 33 and verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly.
Listen, that never changes. You're very fortunate in your life if you can go through your life and get little breaks in between this dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, you ever sit back and you ask yourself, man, how come I can't never catch a break? Because we were never intended to catch a break. You catch breaks in between the action, in between the reality that is always good set against evil and the sinner versus the ungodly. You get breaks in between that. If we learn to look at life that way, we won't be so stressed out about why my life is a battle. You only look at it as a battle if you can't accept that dynamic that is always a battle, whether it's you versus you or somebody else that doesn't have your best interest in mind, is going to war with you. And you have to choose to look at these battles in a positive way. This is why when kings served the Most High and did the right thing, they were blessed with peace. Yeah. That's a significant blessing to live the rest of your life without a lot of antagonistic forces coming at you.
Imagine.
That's how you know you've gotten peace. But the nature of life is to have these opposing forces coming at you. That's what this is about. And the funny thing is, but the more you fight what's in you, the less you have these antagonistic forces coming at you. That's also the point. But when you don't fight what's in you, guess what happens? Then the sinners come around you.
Yep.
Then the fighter, then the bad bosses come around you.
Yep.
Then bad people come in your life. Why are all these bad people harming me? Because you don't want to fight you. So now you got some physical manifestation of what you're not fighting in you, making your life hell. It's how it works. Remember when Solomon wasn't living right?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden he had antagonists come up.
Edomite.
Yeah.
Agag, no,
No, it wasn't. It was an Edomite. Yeah. Well, all these kings weren't fighting their battle. You know, all of a sudden, remember he told was it Asa? I think it was King Asa. He said, "Listen, man, because you didn't fight my battle and trust me, you're gonna always be in wars.
From this point on.
From this point on, you're gonna always be in wars. What's the point? When you don't fight what's inside of you, now all of a sudden these characters come out of nowhere, out of narrative land,
Yeah.
out of the forest, they want to fight you.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's going on? You ever see those cartoons like Dragon Ball Z? You're just walking around doing your Dragon Ball Z thing, and this guy comes out of nowhere and says, I come from this planet, and I want to fight you. Like, what the hell's going on? What is this?
I'm done with you.
And now you just want to come and take you out and destroy the planet? Where does this come? What kind of plot is this? Is this real life? And all of a sudden you got to fight, and you get your tail kicked, and you got to figure out how to fight and beat this guy? And then you win, and another guy, this pink guy comes out of here that's fat, and he just kicks your ass. And what's going on here, right? For those who know, they know. What am I trying to explain?
Why can't there be peace?
It wasn't meant to be peace. It wasn't meant to have this ease and comfort in life. The only time you gain ease and comfort is when you fight what's inside of you in your spirit. Then the reward is peace.
Yeah.
But when you don't fight what's inside of you, you got war after war after war after bad boss, and after my body's attacking me. All of a sudden, all these things happen when you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Didn't we read Genesis 49? Who shall rouse him up? What's going to get you reading the Bible again? Is getting what you want going to get you to read the Bible?
Never that.
You got to have something. I got to be on the brink of getting foreclosed on. I got to get in the brink of losing my whip. All of a sudden, you know, in Israel was on the brink when they got to start parking the car in the garage act. You got to be in the garage. I cannot have my shit out because you just don't know. They might catch me slipping. So I got to be on the. I've been around situations like that. You got to start hiding cars.
No, you keep the car empty, so that way if they take
Yes,
it, you don't got nothing in it. So you make sure nothing valuable's in the car. You know, take all your CDs out the car. Back in the day,
CDs, I love it.
Take all your CDs out the car.
Yes.
Any point in time that tow truck come get it. You
No
know,
jewelry in the
that's
car.
it.
Those CDs were $20 a pop at one time. I remember.
Yeah. It has some value.
At Sam Goody's.
Yeah. Or Camelot Music.
Yes. Those are old FY.
Yeah.
Those old stores. Yes. Classic. But I'm just trying to paint the pictures we're going to send the battle. The battles come, all these periphery battles come because we don't fight what's inside of us. And those periphery battles are there to wake us up, to get us to come back to the Lord. But we're so hyper-focused on the actual person that's harmful. The person did this to me. The situation affected me. Versus understanding why the situation affected me in the first place. Why did this happen? Why did things go bad? Why were things messed up? Why did the Most High put me in this situation? We don't, right in the front, sir.
Get that chair.
You go right in the front. Everything will be okay. So, do we understand? Where are we at? Verse-wise.
Verse 60. First Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 60. Then removed he and came with a great host, and sent letters privately to his adherents in Judea, that they should take Jonathan and those that were with him. Howbeit they could not, because their counsel was known unto them.
Read verse 60 again, Salaki.
First Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 60. Then removed he and came with a great host, and sent letters privately to his adherents in Judea, that they should take Jonathan and those that were with him. Howbeit they could not, because their counsel was known unto them.
So they're saying is, listen, Bacchus and his men came down, but they're like, we can't get them because Jonathan heard or got some intel that they were coming to get him. Read on.
Wherefore they took of the men of the country that were authors of that mischief about 50 persons and slew them. Afterward, Jonathan and Simon and they that were with him got them away to Bethbasi, which is in the wilderness, and they repaired the decays thereof and made it strong.
Let's do this. Let's go to paragraph 5 in Josephus, book 13, chapter 1, paragraph 5.
Chapter 3, paragraph 5.
It's chapter 1, paragraph 5.
Page 336, line 22.
Got it.
Hear that?
You said line 122?
No, just paragraph 5.
So it's Antiquities of the Jews, book 13. Again,
Paragraph, chapter 1, paragraph 5.
Chapter 1, paragraph 5. However, Simon and Jonathan returned to the lakes of the river and abode there. But Bacchides, when he had secured all Judea with his garrisons, returned to the king. And then it was that the affairs of Judea were quiet for 2 years. But when the deserters and the wicked saw that Jonathan and those that were with him lived in the country very quietly, by reason of the peace, they sent to King
Okay, so what's happening is they realize Jonathan and them get out of the woods and get some of that AC. Not AC, but you get my point. They get a little more creature comforts. They get out of the damn marshlands, and they're slowly flowing through the city, trying to get themselves acclimated, thinking that the block isn't hot anymore. Right? Read on.
They sent to King Demetrius and excited him to send Bacchides to seize upon Jonathan, which they said was to be done without any trouble and in one night's time, and that if they fell upon them before they were aware, they might slay them all. So the king sent Bacchides, who when he was come into Judea, wrote to all his friends, both Jews and auxiliaries, that they should seize upon Jonathan and bring him to him. And when upon all their endeavors they were not able to seize upon Jonathan, for he was sensible of the snares, they laid for him.
So Jonathan figured out the plot that they were trying to use to get him while he was in the city. Read on.
And very carefully guarded against them. Bacchides was angry at these deserters, as having imposed upon him and upon the king, and slew 50 of their leaders.
So he slew 50 people that I guess failed to execute the plot to pick up Jonathan and snatch him up when he was in the city. Read on.
Whereupon Jonathan with his brother and those that were with him retired to Bethgala, a village that lay in the wilderness, out of his fear of Bacchides. He also built towers in it and encompassed it with walls, and took care that it should be safely guarded.
So they escaped the cities. They got away to Bethagla, set up these towers and guarded it up, getting ready for this next onslaught and fight that Bacchides is going to bring. Read on.
Upon the hearing of which Bacchides led his own army along with him, and besides took his Jewish auxiliaries.
His sellouts. So Bacchides brought his Jewish sellouts with him to finish this battle off. Read on.
And came against Jonathan, and made an assault upon his fortifications, and besieged him many days. But Jonathan did not abate of his courage at the zeal Bacchides used in the siege.
So now they're besieging this area, and they're using significant force and power, and Jonathan doesn't bend they don't bend to this pressure. They don't bend to this situation. Jonathan holds firm. Read on.
But courageously opposed him. And while he left his brother Simon in the city to fight with Bacchus, he went privately out himself into the country, and got a great body of men together of his own party, and fell upon Bacchus' camp in the nighttime.
So what's happening is Jonathan takes a group, leaves the fortifications while Simon is running the fortification, leaves and attacks a group of Bacchus' camp at night on the cover of darkness. Read on.
And destroyed a great many of them. His brother Simon knew also of this, his falling upon them, because he perceived that the enemies were slain by him. So he sallied out upon them and burnt the engines which the Macedonians used, and made a great slaughter of them.
So what's happening is once Simon, who's in the fortification, sees that Simon sees the issues, Simon sees that Jonathan is winning that fight when they came and snuck attack him. Now Simon gets his men out of the city, and they burn those engines, those Macedonian war engines, so that the siege can't be sustained. Okay, read on.
Line 30. And when Bacchus saw himself encompassed with enemies, and some of them before, and some behind him, he fell into despair and trouble of mind, and confounded at the unexpected ill success of this siege.
So what he's saying is this thing didn't work out as planned. He was uncomfortable. He didn't like how things were turning out. Read on.
However, he ventured his displeasure at these misfortunes upon those deserters who sent for him from the king.
So what he's saying is he's pissed that after 2 years of peace, these negative Jews even brought him into this war in the first place. They're like, you're starting up this crap. I'm getting, my men are dying. For what reason? Just because you want to sit back here and finish these guys off? They weren't the problem. They weren't starting no problems. Now you're putting me in a bad spot. I'm taking L's. For what reason? Read on.
However, he ventured his displeasure at these misfortunes upon those deserters who sent for him from the king, as having deluded him. So he had a mind to put...
Read that, read it again. However, he vented his displeasure.
Line 31. However, he ventured his displeasure at these misfortunes upon those deserters who sent for him from the king, as having deluded him. So he had a mind to put an end to this siege after a decent manner, if it were possible for him to do, and then to return home.
So he wants to go to hell home because this whole last part of this battle backfired. And he's thinking, like, why the hell am I even put in this situation in the first place? It didn't have to go this way. So hold that and go back to 1 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 61. Matter of fact, verse 60.
1 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 60. Then removed, verse 60, then removed he and came with a great host, and sent letters privately to his adherents in Judea, that they should take Jonathan and those that were with him. Howbeit they could not, because their counsel was known unto them. Wherefore they took of the men of the country that were authors of that mischief about 50 persons, and slew them. Afterward Jonathan and Simon and they that were with him got them away to Bethbasi, which is in the wilderness, and they repaired the decay thereof and made it strong. Which thing, when Bacchus knew, he gathered together all his host, and sent word to them that were of Judea. Then went he and laid siege against Bethbasi, and they fought against it a long season, and made engines of war. But Jonathan left his brother Simon in the city, and went forth himself into the country. And with a certain number went he forth, and he smote Adonachris and his brethren, and the children of Phasiron in their tent. And when he began to smite them and came up with his forces, Simon and his company went out of the city and burned up the engines of war, and fought against Bacchus, who was discomfited by them, and they afflicted him sore, for his counsel and travail was in vain. Wherefore he was very wroth at the wicked men that gave him counsel to come into the country, insomuch as he slew many of them, and proposed to return into his own country.
Gone. Let's now hold this while we get rid of that.
Let's kind of backfired though. On the deserters are the ones that petitioned Bacchus to come and fight.
Gone.
And for those that didn't want to fight and desert, they end up getting killed on the back end.
Well, everybody who planned this plan, it didn't work for them. It didn't work for them.
It just shows you how you may not want to fight for the Most High and desert, but then it still comes back and where your plans fail. They fail you, and it blows up in your face. Just want to bring a verse on that. Proverbs chapter 26, verse 27.
Proverbs chapter 26. Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 27.
Start at verse 23.
Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 23. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver drops.
What does he say?
Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver drops.
So he said burning lips is when you have a lot of ill things to say about people. Is when you have nothing positive to say about people, and you have to sound off your disgust to people. You have to let it be known how disappointed you are with people. You got to let it be known how much people get under your skin, or they bother you so much. When your lips are burning, it's just when you're filled with venomous speech. He said, but that burning lips and what else?
It says burning lips and a wicked heart.
So because why is your lips burning? Why you got a lot of negative to say about somebody? Because remember, Jonathan and his men were at peace. They weren't even at war. They fought, made an attempt, fled to the mountains, to the swamps, and they were able to at least rebuild their community with peace, living in a swamp-like condition. You gotta close that door. So he's saying how is it that the deserters saw Jonathan at peace and then had something ill to say about him? How can you be mad at somebody who is at peace?
Who did their job?
How can you be upset at somebody who's not going through traumatic experiences or not suffering? Because I don't like the fact that they're at peace because I'm suffering, because I'm not happy with my condition. And because I'm not happy with my condition, I hate to see somebody else happy in their condition. He says, but burning lips and a wicked heart is like a potsherd. A potsherd is like broken pieces of a pot. Like a clay pot that's broken in shards. Like if you ever seen a glass that's broken in many pieces, meaning he said, but it's covered in silver what?
With silver drops.
It's covered in silver drops, meaning it's good for nothing. It could have been good for something. Those deserters, they could have been good for something if they would have fought like Jonathan fought. He said, but instead, they chose the route of, I'm just going to talk about people that live at peace. I'm going to just talk about people that aren't suffering like I'm suffering. Read.
He that hated dissembleth with his lips.
And he's showing you that what's in me is my what? Is my hate, my hatred. My hatred will cause me to despise somebody who did nothing against me, or who was no enemy to me, and who was actually at peace. He says their hatred did what?
It says he that hated dissembleth with his lips.
Why did those deserters talk against Jonathan? They were living in peace. What were they doing wrong? But escaping whatever conditions that Bacchus was trying to put upon them. Because it was their own hate in them. Read on.
And layeth up deceit within him.
And that's why they said, you know what, we're gonna make a plan. We're gonna go call Bacchides and tell him, fall upon these men and catch them off guard who was sitting at peace, who did nothing wrong. Read on.
Verse 25.
Yep.
When he speaketh fair, believe him not.
They said, but these deserters, obviously they knew where Jonathan was at, so they still kept some type of arrangement or communication with him. Read on.
When he speaketh fair, believe him not.
Why?
For there are 7 abominations in his heart.
Because you never know what's in the mind of the person who is angry at your peace. You never know what's in their mind and what's in their heart to see you be established or be happy or be at peace or be content. Read on.
Whose hatred is covered by deceit.
And their hatred is covered by what?
Deceit.
Those deserters are backstabbing individuals. They smile, they say shalom, they say this, they say that, but in the background they can't stand to see you established. They can't stand to see you happy or be at peace. Read on.
His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation.
And this is when it blows up. This is when it backfires. Just like it backfired on the deserters, they might as well fought with with Jonathan, instead of just being angry and leave them stranded, and then come back and say, Bacchides, they're over there. Go get them. Fall on them at night, catch them slipping, catch them off guard. When they could have been there as a companion. They could have been there as an ally. Read on.
Whoso diggeth the pit.
They said, but this is the truth. This is the truth about this particular hatred, or this particular burning lips. He said, whoso diggeth the what?
A pit.
What does it mean to dig a pit? I'm trying to catch somebody what? Slipping.
in the trap.
I'm setting them up in a trap. I set a trap for them. At the same time that I may set a trap for somebody else, he said, he that diggeth the pit, read on,
shall fall therein.
What's going to happen? You're going to get, a lot of times, what people do, what men do, that have negative in their heart, they fall by their own plans. Their own plans backfire on them. Their own hate gets them caught up. Their own plots catch their own selves up. They fall into their own plots and they fail. This is exactly what we're reading about. Those deserters that could have been fighting with Jonathan chose to be neutral, to run away from the battle, not join in the battle against the Greeks, and then now they're the ones who set the plan up to destroy them, catch them slipping, and now Bacchides is like, you know what? It's all the deserters' fault.
Yeah, they're going to take the blame.
Now I got to kill y'all, because y'all the one brought me out here to get ambushed.
Y'all baited me out here.
Y'all baited me out here, and now I'm getting ambushed on both sides. Now I'm blaming you. Now I'm killing y'all.
It didn't go as planned.
And it doesn't go as planned. So it doesn't benefit to have any kind of hate towards anybody. It doesn't benefit us at all to have any kind of disgust towards anybody. Or to be angry at anybody's peace or anybody's circumstance. It doesn't benefit us because that hate that burns in us usually backfires upon us. And finish reading that, Taiwan.
And he that rolled a stone.
And he that rolled a stone. Why did I roll a stone downhill? Because I'm trying to take somebody out. I roll this stone on purpose.
Yeah.
It said he that rolleth the stone.
To affect someone.
Read on.
It will return upon him.
What does that mean? I roll a stone. It's like a cartoon. I roll a stone downhill, and then that stone goes up a hill, and then comes back and falls back on me.
That's like a Pink Panther episode.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Wile E. Coyote. Yeah.
Oh, that's the better one.
Wile E. Coyote. He rolled a stone down a cliff, and it rolls back up on the other side of the cliff and hits him on top of the cliff.
I was buying those bad Acme products at.
Yeah, Acme bricks. Yeah. He said, but that's what we read about. The Most High said he'll make sure that whatever you plan through anger, through disgust, or through whatever's burning in you, hatred, it will fall right back upon your own head. That's why it doesn't benefit us to look at or judge one another's servant. I can be mad at what somebody else is doing. It does me no good.
Yeah.
Finish that? No, that's verse 27. That was it. So let's go back to where we left off in
Maccabees.
Maccabees 61. I think it was 61.
No, it's 70 now.
70.
Matter of fact,
When Bacchides
verse
said,
69. Verse 69 is a good one.
yeah, 69.
First Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 69. Wherefore he was very wroth at the wicked men that gave him counsel to come into the country.
And those were the deserters.
Mm-hmm.
Those were they could have been fighting with Jonathan, but chose otherwise.
Yep. Looking for gain.
Look at it, and then their plans blew up on them. Read on.
Insomuch as he slew many of them, and purposed to return into his own country.
And then go back home.
God. It's like I'm sitting here wasting my time, losing men for nothing. I have an entire jurisdiction to manage, and you just want to be greedy and just take it all and have complete control over a situation when they weren't causing any problems. And once again, Proverbs 21 talks about what? 21:1. Go there real quick. Because what we like to do in these classes is explain the logical storytelling and then go back and look at it from a spiritual perspective. Read Proverbs 21:1.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
The king's heart, the king's mind is in the hand of the Lord. Bacchides is the one who's leading this campaign to destroy us. So the Most High is putting it in Bacchides' heart to do what? Stop this onslaught. Stop this. You're wasting your time, Bacchides. You're losing men. Fall back. Kill these plotters that are instigating this war. Listen, the Most High took out 50 elites who were co-conspirators in Alcimus' plot to destroy the priesthood and to destroy that influence, the right influence in Israel. So the Most High used their greed and their power. He used it as leverage to take him out.
Yeah.
But the Most High, so the Most High is working through Alcimus and working through his mind to see how exhausting and how much of a waste of time it is to fight this man in the damn wilderness.
This is stupid.
This is stupid.
Now men are getting stuck in the mud
They're
pits.
dying.
Animals are getting wasted.
Yep.
Resources are getting burnt out.
All these machines, these war machines that cost real money,
They're getting stuck
they're
in
destroyed.
the mud.
Yeah.
I'm losing money.
We got this. You know what it is? I gotta get out of. I gotta leave Afghanistan.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know how much money they lost leaving Afghanistan? How much millions in equipment they just left in Afghanistan because it was more expensive to bring it up there and take it back. They just left it.
Normally, militarily, you're supposed to destroy the equipment if you leave it. If it has to be left, you don't want to leave the equipment and it become an asset to the enemy.
Yeah, that's what it is. We got trucks, we got gunnery machinery, and we got technology that we can reverse engineer and make it for ourselves.
Technically, they train you to take an incendiary grenade and put it on top of the equipment, and it blows white phosphorus, and white phosphorus melts metal. So you're supposed to disable the equipment and burn it up completely. You set it on the engine block, and you melt the engine down, and then it catches the whole thing on fire. You're supposed to disable equipment. You're not supposed to leave working equipment to be utilized by no enemy. That's how you show how you know how bad it is when governments do that. Our government does that.
Huh? So this is where the Most High is in Bacchides' head, working with him to eventually liberate us from these wars. Now in chapter 10, which we're not going into today, it explains the major thing that the Most High positions to really give Jonathan greater leverage in the region. But it's all the Most High used, we're going to go into, the Most High used Jonathan's diplomacy to allow him to shine. Whereas the Most High used Judas's brute force and his faith and allowed that to be his calling card. Because you're going to sit back and read about Jonathan. His whole stamp on this thing wasn't his wars. He fought and he was courageous, but his strength was in how he played the diplomatic card and gained Israel leverage that way. You notice this thing keeps sliding. It keeps sliding to Dawi outside.
I think it's just the camera.
I'm just doing this to try to get it reset, and
I don't think so.
it ain't doing it. It's not listening no more.
I think
I
it
thought it
was,
was the whole time.
yeah.
No, it was not. It was not there. It's been.
Oh,
listen,
it did slide.
It's been sliding. The whole time it's been sliding. I just don't want to
We'll
listen.
figure it out.
Listen, y'all. This is our first day back, and a little bumpy ride here, but just be patient with us. We'll get it together. I just feel everything just keeps sliding as we're teaching.
Yeah, it's. I think it might be the
It's
cord.
gotta be.
It might be the cord pulling on it.
Well, maybe that too. Okay, so let's keep going. Verse 70, 71. I mean 71. No, verse 70. Verse 7.
Now, 1 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 7. Whereof, when Jonathan had knowledge, he sent ambassadors unto
So
him.
what? Now Jonathan's diplomacy is kicking in. Jonathan realizes that Bacchides and that whole faction is starting to break apart. He knows Bacchides really don't want this smoke and wants to go home. So now what would Judas do? Let's go kill him. Let's go kill these guys out.
Yeah,
Let's kill him. Let's kill him and keep fighting and send them back in body bags. That's what he would say. But what is Jonathan saying? Okay, let me send him a letter. And let's talk about this. Let's go ahead and sit back here and squash this war. Go ahead and go home, Bacchides. We're gonna be cool. Just be cool. Just go home. Everything's gonna be okay. He's gonna do it a more diplomatic way, and the Most High blesses that approach. It's a very important it's a very important concept to understand. Israel gets so caught up into how they do things that if you don't do it this is amongst men. If you ain't doing it the way I do it, it ain't the spirit. And that's proof. What we're reading about Jonathan. Now, wives are supposed to serve your husband, and it is the spirit. I'm not saying that. I'm saying amongst men. If you're not doing it the way I do it, it's not the spirit. And that's not the case. Now, we're supposed to template what we do based on things that work. But the Most High obviously is working with Jonathan on a more diplomatic approach, and Judas was more of a brute force approach. And the Most High blessed and honored both approaches. Just keep that in mind as we continue in chapter 10. Read on.
Verse 7. Whereof, when Jonathan had knowledge, he sent ambassadors unto him, to the end he should make peace with him, and deliver them the prisoners. Which things he accepted, and did according to his demands, and sware unto him that he would never do him harm all the days of his life. When therefore he had restored unto him the prisoners that he had taken aforetime out of the land of Judea, he returned and went his way into his own land. Neither came he any more into their border.
Hold on real quick. I was trying to mess this computer. Read verse 70 again. Salat from the jump.
Come. 1 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse 7. Whereof, when Jonathan had knowledge, he sent ambassadors unto him, to the end he should make peace with him, and deliver them the prisoners. So
Jonathan sat back here, tried to make peace with Bacchides, and set up prisoner exchange. That's the way you can show good faith. Listen, man, I'm going to send you your soldiers back. Let's create peace. We don't have to take it like this. Read on.
Which thing he accepted, and did according to his demands.
So Bacchides conceded. And they had some kind of a peace pact amongst themselves. Read on.
And swear unto him that he would never do him harm all the days of his life.
Now you really can't trust that when Esau says, I ain't never gonna hurt you. With his fingers are crossed in the back of his hand. So you can't really trust that. But what it's showing you is that Jonathan does have diplomatic skills and got the objective that he wanted. Bacchides left happy. Jonathan left happy. That takes certain skill and a capability to sit back here and broker a deal amongst the nations that you warn against. Read on.
When therefore he had restored unto him the prisoners that he had taken aforetime out of the land of Judea, he returned and went his way into his own land.
So what Bacchides did also is he gave his soldiers, his prisoners of war, back to Jonathan also. So they both did a prison swap. Read on.
Neither came he any more into their borders.
And after that point on, Bacchus didn't go back to war with Jonathan. Read on. And that was really of the Most High. It obviously was Jonathan's ability to sit back here and broker deals the right way, but it was the Most High changed his heart that really fulfilled that execution of that scenario. Read on.
Thus the sword ceased from Israel, but Jonathan dwelt in Machmas and began to govern the people, and he destroyed the ungodly men out of Israel.
And what's crazy is that once Jonathan got the go-ahead from Bacchus and he wasn't coming back to war, now he had leverage. Now he had leverage. Now you can sit back here and deal with the enemies from within. Now you got to clean house because you only have a certain window of time before somebody might want to come back and go to war.
Exactly.
Listen, this is just generation after generation is just infighting and taking out rebels that want to go a different direction. This is historic. This is history. This is now. This is what the U.S. government does for breakfast. You know what they do? They sit back here and set up regime change operations. But before they do that, they nurture and they develop their asset. This lady, Caracas, what was her name? What was her name? Somebody pulled the name up in class.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta hurry up, man.
Maria Caracas.
Maria, yeah. Maria. Don't worry about it, man. If you got rid of it, it's cool. The lady that's eventually would be the president of Caracas, she was groomed for years. They had been trying to set up regime change operations. What's that? But Machado? Yeah, Machado was being groomed and developed for multiple years. They were trying to get her in to replace Maduro for multiple years. It just didn't work. She was pushing riots. She was pushing for destruction of private property. But she got the Nobel Peace Prize. It's weird. Point is that what they do is they'll have a president in there, then they'll sit back and choose somebody within the president's cabinet or who has some kind of clout, and they'll start financing them and backing them.
And set up a puppet government.
This is what the National Endowment of Democracy is all about. It was set up in 1980. And before the NED happened and all these NGOs happened, the CIA would just sit back here and take drug money, just send it to dictators and leaders, and they want to take over your country. Now they have these nonprofits do it. So there's no money trail. So they have these NGOs come in and finance certain leaders, certain people, and gain the momentum to sit back and overthrow the leader in power. And the funny thing is when you sit back here and look at these government organizations or these certain leaders, you have to go and check who's funding them. And when these different leaders in Thailand and the Philippines and Venezuela and certain countries in Africa, they will sit back and look at their websites and look at these people, you'll find out who backs them. And if NGOs are backing them, just know that they're Soros-backed, Edomite-backed, American-backed companies. And they're setting up regime change operations against the opposition.
And they have pretty names that you don't know, like U.S. Aid.
Yes, U.S. Aid. Yes.
Yeah, so like you think U.S. Aid as a name, like, man, the U.S. is aiding somebody.
And they are off the rip.
Yeah.
We're giving little medicines to the babies.
Yeah.
We're doing some basic stuff. But underneath that, they're sitting back here and funneling guns, weapons. They're teaching these guys how to set up, how to sit back here and do rallies and protests and create violence.
Yeah.
Have it on TV, film it, show the world what's going on.
And a lot of that money cannot be accounted for. That's a lot of lost monies. Well, we don't know what happened to that $6 million that we got that was donated. You don't know who it went to.
And this is why it's funny that they talk about we're stopping the fentanyl scenarios and the drugs. No, they're not. They're using that money, the profits, to fund the regime changes.
Yeah.
That's what they're
That money's
using.
beneficial.
That's what the crack cocaine epidemic was about.
Iran-Contra.
Yeah, well, in the crack game in the 80s.
Or when the Marines landed in poppy fields in Afghanistan.
That's
Why would they land? Why would
they?
they have Marines parachute into the poppy field?
That's crazy. We're good.
And
Yeah.
you know why? Because the part of the deal was you're going to keep planting poppy. You're not going to plant regular plants. We need this money to keep funding regime change around the world.
need corn.
What was so important about Afghanistan? There's no natural resources there except that poppy. They needed the poppy to keep funding, to keep peddling the drugs, to make the money, to keep sending all around the world, to keep turning over governments and flipping them over, so they can sustain dominance across the world. People don't look at it, but that's the truth. There's the thumbs down. That's okay. That's okay. Doesn't mean it's not true. That's what goes on. That's why America biblically is called the beast. And this is why scripturally the Bible talks about how the world marvels at the beast. How was the beast able to sit back here and convince the people, convince the majority of the world that the U.S. is about backing and defending the underdog and is looking after the people, but simultaneously rule the entire world with an iron fist? Because that's really what happens. The thought is that this country is about helping and protecting all these people and looking after the people and looking after the underdog. We're going to go to Africa and help the Africans.
It was believable years ago, but it's just too much information out there. And a lot of people, this is a shock to a lot of people. I get it. That's why I understand the thinking of it. But a lot of people haven't been doing the research or getting information to prove or to disprove these facts.
And what ends up happening is, so simultaneously, media makes you think
There too.
they're defending democracy, when in actuality they're creating a bunch of subservient states and destroying these countries from the inside. That's my point. But nobody wants to look at it that way. But anyway, what's happening here is that Jonathan, the Most High was with Jonathan. The Most High changed the heart of Bacchides. And now what Jonathan has to do is clean house with all these dissenting figures that are trying to push Israel the Greek way, like Judas had to do, like Mattathias had to do. Jonathan is the first one that actually has a little bit of leverage to do more wholesale cleanouts, because Bacchides, the head general of the region, isn't going to war with him anymore. So now there's a little window of leverage where they can actually have a sustainable dominance of the region. Okay?
It's almost like Israel been fighting against the Greek culture and influence since Onias III.
Yes.
Since they've been coming in and trying to preserve the Hebrew culture.
And the funny thing is, the Most High is realizing, not Most High, but just going to war and fighting wasn't going to work long term. There had to be some type of diplomatic scenario that kicks in so that this can sustain itself for a long term. And then when you read next week in chapter 10, you read about how the Most High pits two different men who have family lines to Antiochus against each other. There's going to be another man that comes into power that has claim to Antiochus Epiphanes. Now, Demetrius is in power now. That means Antiochus, that was his uncle. So he's in power. This other man's going to come in and say, I have reign, I have a claim to the throne also, because my father was Antiochus. So now you got these two men that are fighting and jockeying for that position in Antiochia. And Jonathan uses that fight and infighting amongst the Edomites to gain leverage for his nation.
And it won't be long before the Romans come in and change it all.
And that's the point. But how these things are moving and they're changing and adjusting, the Most High has the right man for the job. He's just not this super wartime concierge, but he's the guy for the job to get Israel from that wartime state to a more stable government. Because it isn't like we were going to win in this global supremacy war. That wasn't going to work anyway. So, even with Judas, it was war after war after war after war. Numbers were going from 10,000 to 2,000. It wasn't going to work. Just fighting and fighting and fighting. We were already burning out. So now the Most High is changing the tides. Has the right skilled man to get this thing done, and we'll go into that more next week. Okay, let's finish off in Josephus, paragraph 6. So now it's Josephus 13, 1 and 6.
Antiquities of the Jews, book 13, chapter 1, paragraph 6, line 32, page 337. When Jonathan understood these his intentions, he sent ambassadors to him about a league of friendship and mutual assistance, and that they might restore those that they had taken captive on both sides. So Bacchides thought this a pretty decent way of retiring home, and made a league of friendship with Jonathan, when they swear that they would not any more make war against one another. Accordingly, he restored the captives, and took his own men with him, and returned to the king of Antioch. And after this, his departure, he never came into Judea again. Then did Jonathan take the opportunity of this quiet state of things, and went and lived in the city Michmash, and there governed the multitude, and punished the wicked and ungodly, and by that means purged the nation of them.
And that's how Jonathan's initial leadership sets up. This is how he gets himself inaugurated, or pretty much not inaugurated, but baptized in his position. Okay.
He's Christian. He's Christian, the leader of Israel.
God. So what we're going to do now is send our prayers up to the Most High. And are there any questions before we do that? All right. Well, Amajim, Wapunya, Yerah Shalom.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Please listen to us right now.
Please listen to us right now.
Send Michael.
Send Michael.
And the righteous angel.
And the righteous angel.
To watch over.
To watch over.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal.
Heal.
Protect.
Protect.
And make strong.
And make strong.
The people of Yasharala.
The people of Yasharala.
Also send unto us.
Also send unto us.
Much wisdom.
Much wisdom.
Much knowledge.
Much knowledge.
Much understanding.
Much understanding.
Much patience.
Much patience.
Much faith.
Much faith.
Much brotherhood.
Much brotherhood.
And much love.
And much love.
Spiritual power.
Spiritual power.
And forgive all of our sins.
And forgive all of our sins.
Yahweh Shai come quickly.
Yahweh Shai come quickly.
For indeed.
For indeed.
Is our hope.
Is our hope.
Always.
Always.
And forever.
And forever.
Amen.
Amen.
Listen. No. Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua.
Barakatah B'Shem Yahshua.
Hahawa'ah. Nathan Lanawa. Hatawara.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the law.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua.
Barakatah B'Shem Yahshua.
Hahawa'ah. Nathan Lanawa. Award. Lawa'ah.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us light to see.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua.
Barakatah B'Shem Yahshua.
Hahawa'ah. Nathan Lanawa. Ha'ayom. Kwara. Ha'ayin.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the ram's horn to call the people.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua.
Barakatah Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua.
Hahawa'ah. Nathan Lanawa. Shaman. Zayat. Lamashak. Yasharala.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Israel.
Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord.
It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord.
And to sing praise unto thy name.
And to sing praise unto thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
To show forth thy loving kindness in the morning.
And thy faithfulness every night.
And thy faithfulness every night.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
Upon an instrument of 10 strings.
And upon the psaltery.
And upon the psaltery.
upon the heart with the solemn sound.
with the solemn sound.
For thou Yahweh,
For thou Yahweh
hast made me glad through thy work.
has made me glad through thy work.
I will triumph
I will
in
triumph
the works of thy hands.
in the works of thy hands.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
how great are thy works,
how great are thy works,
and thy thoughts are very deep.
and thy thoughts are very deep.
A brutish man knoweth not,
A brutish man knoweth not,
neither doth the fool understand it.
neither doth the fool understand it.
When the wicked spring is the grass,
When the wicked spring is the grass,
and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish,
and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish,
it is that they shall be destroyed forever.
it is that they shall be destroyed forever.
But thou Yahweh,
But thou Yahweh
art most high forevermore.
art most high forevermore.
For lo thy enemies,
For lo thy enemies,
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
for lo thy enemies,
for lo thy enemies
shall perish.
shall perish.
All the workers of iniquity
All the workers of iniquity
shall be scattered.
shall be scattered.
But my horn shalt not exalt,
But my horn shall not exalt,
like the horn of a unicorn.
like the horn of a unicorn.
I shall be anointed
I shall be anointed
with fresh oil.
with fresh oil.
Mine eye also shall see.
Mine eye also shall see
My desire
my desire
of my enemies.
of my enemies,
And my ears shall hear.
and my ears shall hear
My desire
my desire
of the wicked
of the wicked
that rise up against me.
that rise up against me.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree.
It shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
Those that be planted in the house of the Lord
Those that be planted in the house of the Lord
shall flourish in the courts of our power.
shall flourish in the courts of our power.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall be fat and flourishing.
They shall be fat and flourishing.
To show
To show
that the Lord is upright.
the Lord is upright.
He is my rock.
He is my rock.
There is no unrighteousness in him.
And there is no righteousness in him.
By Hashem Yahushua.
By Hashem Yahushua.
Psalms 133. Shayar.
Shayar.
Hama'ayawa.
Hama'ayawa.
Laduad.
Laduad.
Hana.
Hana.
Ma. Tuwa.
Tuwa.
Wama.
Wama.
Na'ayam.
Na'ayam.
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Akya.
Akya.
Gam.
Gam.
Yakad.
Yakad.
Hasheman.
Hasheman.
Hatawa.
Hatawa.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Hara'ash.
Hara'ash.
Yerad.
Yerad.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Hasaquan.
Hasaquan.
Saquan.
Saquan.
Aharad.
Aharad.
Shayarad.
Shayarad.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Madawakiwa.
Madawakiwa.
Qatar.
Qatar.
Haramwan.
Haramwan.
Shayarad.
Shayarad.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Haroria.
Haroria.
Zayawan.
Zayawan.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Sham.
Sham.
Tazawa.
Tazawa.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Habaraka.
Habaraka.
Hayayim.
Hayayim.
Ay.
Hamuram.
Hamuram. By Hashem Yahushua.
By Hashem Yahushua. Psalms 133 in English. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life evermore. Amen.
Amen. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
By Hashem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Rakanel.
Rakanel.
By Shirali.
By Shirali.
Rabiat.
Rabiat.
Part. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
By Hashem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Rakanel.
Rakanel.
By Shirali.
By Shirali.
Rabiat.
Rabiat.
Part. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
By Hashem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Rakanel.
Rakanel.
By Shirali.
Shirali.
Rabiat.
Rabiat.
Part. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
By Hashem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Rakanel.
Rakanel.
By Shirali.
Shirali.
Rabiat.
Rabiat.
Rakatay Ho.
Rakatay Ho.
Rakatay Ho shot.
Rakatay Ho shot.
Rakatay Ho.
Rakatay Ho.
Rakatay Ho shot.
Rakatay Ho shot.
Rakatay Ho.
Rakatay Ho.
Rakatay Ho shot.
Rakatay Ho shot.
Rakatay Ho.
Rakatay Ho.
Rakatay Ho shot.
Rakatay Ho shot.
All knowledge.
All knowledge.
All wisdom.
All wisdom.
All understanding.
All understanding.
All mercy.
All mercy.
All patience.
All patience.
All power.
All power.
From your house.
From your house.
All power.
All power.
From your house.
From your house.
All power.
All power.
From your house.
From your house.
By Hashem.
By Hashem.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Water.
Yeah.
Look, look.
Saluting out in the heavenly order. Yahweh. Go Yahushua. Walk away Yahweh, men of Israel. Run! Run! Yahweh. Come this up. Saluting out the daughter of Zion.
Turn to face sisters.
Turn to face sisters. Men of
Sisters,
Israel.
please stand.
Please stand. Saluting out the daughters of Zion, men of Israel, Major, Barak,
Yes, Mata. Dismissed. Fall out. Israel, tomorrow for tuning in. See y'all on Monday. Y'all take care.